I'll take it. No, keep going. All right. Good.
Hey, hold up. We got. Hold on one sec, guys. We got people saying that Armani Rain, you are very quiet.
Can't do it. See. Can't have one episode where everything goes smoothly.
We cannot
you can hear me now.
A show.
You hear me now?
No.
So now I gotta say all that over again. I am the MC Armani Rain. Welcome. on brand.
There you go.
Brand.
They can hear you now.
I know. I hit the button.
Now
I
that
can
now.
see it. Shut up. Okay. Look.
We love pain. We love pain.
This is what happens. Okay. So. Anyway, I'm the MC Armani Rain. Welcome back to Roti And Poutine. That is the MC track down there at the bottom, as I pointed to before, so everybody knows his name, so Bailey doesn't get weird in 2 hours and be like, "Who are you?" And then the other person is MC Valiant, who is down. Wait, what are we doing here? Here we go, down there.
I don't know.
Also the historian.
Yeah, whatever.
MC Booby Bubba somebody. But as I was saying before, we are all very happy to have him here. Big super duper shout out to everybody's favorite DJ's favorite DJ, one of our best friends on the entire planet in the music scene, one of the nicest guys I know, the one and only DJ Bailey. Everybody give a round of applause.
Do that again. Yay.
2 times over. Chat.
By the way, big up for doing this live.
Yeah.
That's fucking outstanding.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Can you see the bags? I mean, whoa.
No.
Anyway, I'm good.
I don't see any bags, man.
Yeah, no bags.
The only thing I didn't do is get some food because that half or almost a whole bottle of red wine I tried to drink to keep myself,
so
lively.
Little Liddy tonight. It's cool.
I'm a little bit wishy-washy in the belly right now.
Wishy-washy.
Oh yeah.
Look,
how am I feeling?
I'm gonna join you, so it's fine.
Hey, maybe I'll get the rest of that wine. There's a little bit left.
Hey, grab it. I'll give you a minute.
Get some water, man. What's wrong with you guys, man?
Bad influence.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Things have changed, apparently. But since we're on the subject, man, yeah, maybe. Anyway, we ask everybody who comes on the show. The show's called Roti And Poutine. You are asking why it was called Roti And Poutine, correct?
Yeah, I was like, Pootie Tang, is that some new slang or
Pootie Clan? I'm not going to mess with y'all.
So many jokes inappropriate came to mind. It's like, that is a weird flavored juice. Anyway, what were you going to say, Val?
Wow.
I was going to say, all right, so poutine comes from the fact that even though I'm American, I've been living in Canada for 4 years, and poutine is a Canadian dish. It is
like hot dogs.
It is.
Level.
I thought that I was.
Fries.
I thought
Hot dogs.
it is French fries covered, and it's got cheddar cheese curd, not cheddar cheese curd, which is like So basically, it's nicknamed squeaky cheese. It's white,
right?
And it kind of squeaks when you chew it, and then you put gravy on top of that. Okay, so you get this kind of, and it melts just right. So you get this cheesy, gravy-covered fries.
All kinds of stuff you can put in.
And then anything on top of that you want, but the fries, the cheese, the gravy, and it's like the Canadian national dish, pretty much. So, I'm living in Canada.
It used to be called Rapid Talk because there's 2 of us that are Guyanese and 1 that's representing Canada. We did Roti And Poutine.
Okay, cool.
And I'm halfway Canadian. I should be full, but I'm not. I'm just.
That's true. Track spent significant time in Toronto.
Track is the most New Yorkiest New Yorker I've ever met in my life. Don't listen to that man. Yeah.
Where's Brooklyn at? No, I'm playing.
But man, you got the Guyanese vibe too. We gotta ask you, man, what's your favorite bucket food? Like, if you were gonna die tomorrow and you were like, I need to eat this before I go. What's it going?
Oh man, it's difficult because I stopped eating meat. You know what I mean?
Oh Lord,
this is it. You're not being healthy. This is like, all right.
This is just eat.
Oxtail, man.
Blood.
Okay.
Oxtail, rice and peas. Give me some coleslaw and some mac and cheese as well. Perfect. Got to have the bit of gravy on there. Yeah.
Oh man, you gotta have oxtail. I hate when people don't give you gravy for the oxtail, man.
Yeah, what is that? Who does?
I don't know. I mean, I
won't order for you again if you give me oxtail with no gravy. It's kind of pointless.
Just to be straight on this, like the reason I've stopped eating meat is because I realized that I'm way more awake when I'm not eating it. You know what I mean? It's like when I eat bulks of like that stuff, I just like feel tired all the time.
Oh,
it's nothing to do with saving this or saving that. It's just sort of literally like I'm awake, and
Have you stopped eating all meat or just red meat?
Just red. Well, and the odd bit of chicken every now and then.
Yeah.
But mostly seafood right now. You know.
Yeah. I've no red meat for me whatsoever. It's all Beyond Beef, and even the Beyond Sausage is taking over sausage. I still love bacon, for Christ's sake, but it's mostly just chicken and fish for me too. Like if I eat anything remotely red meat, it's not real.
Yeah, there's decent
also,
substitutes.
We black, man. You know, can't be.
Yeah, we got to look over ourselves long term. Right. I got that.
You know what I'm saying?
I had like a vegan bolognese, and it was just as good as regular bolognese.
Nice.
Else. Yeah, it was good.
Is that everybody off the meat then? Is that
what
right?
you're trying to be, man?
Well, no, I ain't. I can't give up spare ribs yet. I can't give them spare ribs. I can't give them jerk chicken.
Yo,
you know what I mean?
Not to interrupt. Yeah. I will say this, man. And my wife's been a vegetarian for 24 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's never really hit me until I stopped eating meat. But I said to my mother the other day, because my mother makes some fire ribs, fall off the bone. And it's the first time this year when I was eating ribs, I felt barbaric. Like ripping the meat off of ribs with my teeth felt weird. I was like, what's happening to me? Like, I was eating them like, this is delicious, and I feel terrible for eating it. And I don't know, it's a new thing for me, man.
Well, this is the thing. I know that, like, because my mum's a mean cook, you know what I mean? So, and her speciality, well, not speciality, but one of my favorite things is the ribs. And I'm thinking, how am I going to do all this? So I go around there for dinner, and she puts the ribs out. Am I going to leave them? I don't think I can. I'm going to have a few pieces. You know what I mean?
You know,
yeah.
You know, real quick, I had vegan rib tips one time, and I remember the rejoice I had for eating something that was hella good. It's a spot called Main Essentials. If y'all ever come over, it's, you know, I'm not in the city as much, so I'm up here towards the upper side of New York. But I remember going back and telling the guy at the store, yo, this was absolutely amazing, and he gave me the most stupidest look I've ever seen in a while, saying, but dog, you know, food is all about taste. And that just made me feel real crazy after that, saying, yeah, well, maybe we are over consuming on like meats and things of that in that nature. So like it now made me more conscious, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy to know that I'm not eating rocks and twigs and leaves for nothing. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But I kind of thought. So yeah, I absolutely.
Valiant, what did you have today? We can't do your
I did not have poutine. I did, however, have French fries for the first time in quite a while, and I had gravy on them from. Now, don't judge me on this, okay?
I'm not judging.
Hold on. I had gravy from a mixed packet. Okay, but
now I'm judging.
What? Whoa!
I wasn't judging you until you said that. Everything was cool until.
Just railroaded the whole thing.
Go ahead, leave him alone. Stop. My bad.
This is why I don't particularly love mushroom gravy. So I wanted a vegetarian gravy, and a lot of those vegetarian gravies are.
You right.
Vegetarian, although they're loaded with salt and awful shit. But I was like, I just needed that gravy kind of something. And that was fucking banging. And then the farmers markets right now here are absolutely bananas right now when it comes to, no pun intended, when it comes to the fruit. So like the watermelons right now are just insane. The fruit stand that's about a mile up the road has like, I think 10 varieties of watermelon.
10?
10. Yeah,
I learned about one just the other day. I can't remember the name of it. I didn't even know there was so many different styles.
Oh yeah, man! Like a yellow flesh one I had today. It's yellow flesh. It's seeded. The melons are only about like that big. Like about as big as watermelons.
Yo, I had a yellow watermelon and I couldn't do it, man. One,
what do you mean?
Believe it or not, I'm not a huge watermelon fan. Save your jokes. The second thing is, while I was eating it, it looks exactly like pineapple, and it was just giving me trust issues the entire time I was eating it.
Wow.
Trust issues.
I was sitting there like literally having a problem eating this yellow watermelon the entire time, pissed off that it wasn't pineapple. And I love pineapple too, so it was just like, you imposter. But, you know, whatever. My bad. So that's
No.
Oh, man.
We did our food section. Anyway, big up to everybody in the chat. Special big up to MJ for moderating. Super big
MJ
to Sugar Brat once again for being the most important part of this podcast.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely legendary shit.
And we're all fans of Sugar
people
Brat.
wouldn't even know. If it wasn't for Sugar B, people wouldn't even know about it.
3 people. If it wasn't for MJ and Sugar Bear, no one would be here.
I got to send special love to her. That's my D&B sister right there from long time, from Canada and the government, and she's just solid as a rock, man. Absolutely devoted to it.
We talked about old stuff, man. Like she was back at the Theory parties with Jose. Like super shout out to Jose.
Yep.
Like those are like the original humble beginnings up there when I first started going to government. We did the Metalheads Theory party up there. That was like the first party I ever did in Canada. The first party I ever did in Canada.
Oh, Lord.
I remember walking into government and just like the first time I had ever seen like an actual super club, because it was like every room was a whole nother club with a different theme to it. Man, that shit was crazy.
Yeah,
man.
But those are way back then, man. You've got some
misgovernment.
You've got some long-winded history. Energy FM, the Blue Note original Don Dada.
What do you know about Energy FM? How'd you know about that?
What you talking about?
That was back in the.
How do you know about it, man?
About 91, 92.
I do my homework.
I
wasn't around. I just did my homework. I wasn't sure. Yeah, I remember those days.
I got the tapes.
I was there. Tapes. I was not. I was at a house party listening to house music, and I stumbled into drum and bass later. What a switch. Anyway, yeah, man. Just, you've been around the original.
What got you into drum and bass? Let's just start from there.
I don't want to ask questions like what made you like drum and bass?
Yeah.
If you were a tree, what kind of?
Where did drum and
we
bass
got DJ Bailey in the room today, and we're going to be talking about drum and bass music.
But we're going to get these questions in the chat room, so I'm just going to clear it up.
What got you into drum and bass, my G?
What was your first time like really experiencing a moment like
what
that?
Sparked the love?
From the beginning, I was there. In terms of it happening, because it was house music for us, wasn't it? It was Chicago and Detroit and all that sort of thing. And then we kind of like in the UK, because we were loving hip hop from America, we kind of took the break beats from that and added that to house, and then you got the hardcore and the rave scene, and then it just went into jungle. I mean, that's the short version of it. But I was a hip hop head. Man, you have no idea. Man.
Still a hip hop head.
Still a hip hop head. We do have an idea for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You're like, everything's on import, you know what I mean? I wouldn't even accept, because when he pressed the UK copies of stuff, it was all really thin vinyl, but the American ones were all cellophane wrapped and stuff, and proper, like looking real fully colorful. I'd spend like, I was at school then, and I used to get £1 a day to go, you know, obviously we're at school like 5 days a week. I'd save that £1 that I was supposed to be spending at the tuck shop, and at the end of the week I'd have my money to go down and get an import. So once a week I'd go and get one import, you know, Jim Browski, and oh man, I was just, and I know, like, because you buy them one by one, you have a week, you know, you appreciate the one side and the other side, all the different versions, the A side, B side, and I even got to know them by what color the spine was of the record. So I would have my records after a while. Like, here's the black section, the red section, the yellow section, the pink section, all spine. So if someone came around, there's a conversation, I'd be like, oh yeah, blah, blah, I could pull it out. I knew somewhere in the pink section, I'll pull it out there, or the green one.
Did you ever read the scratches on the vinyl too? You ever read the scratches?
Actually, I never did that. Strange enough, I never did that.
Oh yeah. You know, it's funny how
what's on there. Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, it's funny how you said that your domestic vinyl for hip hop was like thin, but the stuff that came from the States was like, it was different, right? But like when I first started discovering dance music and stuff like that, you know, the domestic vinyl in the States was thin vinyl, was shitty. The stuff that was pressed in Europe sounded heavy. Beautiful, and it was heavier. And that's
you know what, Valiant? You know what? Let's just go and say that I guess it was an import situation. So like we like had a popular hip hop record here, right? And then all of a sudden to be this version that we never heard, and it was labeled UK version of said title. You know, it may have been just a selling point if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? For some reason. Yeah,
I mean, but I didn't like those versions. I thought they were really cheesy and shit. Like, I know you got Soul, UK version of UK. I know you got Soul. It's just like adding all this rubbish to it, and I keep it raw.
Paid in Full. You're talking about, right?
Yes, Paid in Full. I thought that was terrible. I thought, what are you doing to this song, man? Keep it raw.
That shit was number one for a whole year over here, bro.
I don't know what that was about. That was such a strange.
The video was just
it was
weird.
Yeah, you're right. It was painful for you. Not. I know you got sold. I was just like, what it gimmicks the track with all these sounds and extra bits and bobs. I was just like, this is rubbish, man.
Yeah, they cheesed it up. They cheesed it up because I thought it was more poppy, more dance friendly, as it were.
Exactly. Yeah, in New York, we had a station called Z100, who would pretty much was just collectively play top 40, top 50, top 100, and that was on there like every single day. So as a hip hop head, young hip hop head, I guess, you were happy to hear this in between like Samantha Fox or it was one of these
Samantha Fox.
Yeah, I just pulled that out of nowhere.
In so long.
Yeah, all but right. You remember all like Debbie, what's her name? Whatever. And then all of a sudden, some dudes thinking of a master plan. We were like, oh wow, the hood's here, and that's what the excitement was. But it kind of left us fucked up in the sense that we thought that that's what the UK liked. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm going to tell you, like us real hip hop heads, we didn't like that nonsense. That was just a conversion. To be honest, it was kind of necessary for people that couldn't understand. Hip hop would have been weird for some people, right? The whole thing,
for sure.
So that conversion sound, I guess, it was essential for people to go, oh, that's quite cool. I quite like this rap music. You know what I mean? So I guess it worked in that way, but for me, I was just like, nah, man, give me the rawest version you can get. Like Jim Brasky, when that came out, the Jungle Brothers, I was like, there's no bass line. Where's the bass line? just a straight breakbeat. I love that.
What?
It's funny, man. It's funny because it's kind of like that still, like, and we kind of try to apply those types of ideologies of just like, yeah, man, let the pop do what it does so people can understand it and then come in and then learn about it. Not everybody's going to do it, but the more people you bring in, the more you get the wedge. I've said it a million times. You get 25% real, 75% bullshit, but as long as the number grows, both number grows,
Well, this is the whole thing, you see, about drum and bass, because people would criticize another man for his sound and say, oh, like in the early days when it was like, the jungle, the reggae samples and all that, and you had Bookham doing that real soft, smooth stuff. Right. People would criticize that, but what he was pulling in was that people were into house music, you know what I mean? So it's important that we have all these different sounds, so everybody, we can latch, it's a magnet from all angles, basically. So it's important to have it all. You can't just have just a reggae jungle, but you just end up with just like demographic, and that's it. You know what I mean?
And that's it. Yeah, I'm thinking about, not to go back a little bit on hip hop, like just the idea that groups like Houdini and Public Enemy kind of had their real born out of they were pretty much in the grounds of UK becoming themselves before they came back to the States and exploring to these superhuman sized groups that we know today. So it's been a quiet thing that, as a hip hop head, it was seen as, if you go to Europe using that as I don't know what the perfect term is, but sort of you go there to learn how to be an artist, and then you come over here and act like you're an artist. And I just wanted to keep note of that because it's a sort of a tenet that was sort of separating us in some form that I really didn't take note to, because I remember a lot of like Nas, everybody has been to Europe, and they would stay like a while out there and just rock, but you didn't know who these guys were. And they were out there growing. So like artist development was pretty much a free trip across the water, really, so they could come back and tour up 50 states. I'm finding this out now, of course, in the moment, of course. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, Houdini, the hat is from Europe. Like the whole idea, this whole look, the leather, you know what I mean? Public Enemy, when you hear that, that's one of the biggest parties that ever happened in UK as well,
Yes. So that was their first time in the UK. That was their first time. They were in Brixton Academy, which is like the place to be if you want to really, show what you do in terms of some underground black music.
Yeah. So I just find it really interesting.
It's funny. The first time I heard that intro, that Public Enemy, bass in your face, London. I remember the first time I heard that. I think I was maybe 7th grade or something like that. Or I can't remember. But I was like, they had this in London? Because the only TV we had the, channel 2, 4, and 7, black and white television with the antenna with the tin foil at the end of the antennas to make sure that the TV signal came in. And then we had PBS. And so on PBS, they showed a lot of stuff from the BBC. So I grew up on Monty Python and a lot of British television shows. So I did not think
Benny Hill. No, I'll play.
Yeah, Benny Hill. No, yeah, all that stuff.
Carry on.
EastEnders and stuff like that. You know, Doctor Who. I was a massive Doctor Who fan ever since I was a kid.
Mr. Bean.
I did not know. I didn't know that they had hip hop in London. I was like, they've got this shit in London, and like the crowd sounded insanely big. I pictured like a stadium full of people in my brain, and it completely captured my imagination because one of the reasons I like Public Enemy so much is because they seem dangerous, and a lot of white people on TV did not like them, and I was like, I need to listen to them. And so when I heard that intro, I was like completely enamored with them. I was completely enamored with they're going around the world with this,
right?
And I wasn't really aware of hip hop going around the world.
Add to that the fake Uzis on stage and stuff like that.
Uzis.
Yeah,
we weren't used to that. We don't have guns over
yeah,
here. Well, we do, but illegally.
Right. So that had to be like extra super trippy to even see visually. Like
what is this? There's a real kind of like military presence on stage.
Yeah.
With Professor Griff telling everybody what's about to happen. Like that was crazy.
You know it's wild, and I say this to this day. I feel like overseas, especially London, France, you guys have been preserving real hip hop more than anyone, bro. Like I've been going over there, and you couldn't even play new school hip hop at a point in time when that's all we were about. And like I remember we doing shows over there because that's like where we could play all the boom bap shit, man. You can play the Public Enemies, you can play the big puns and yada, all that stuff, like things you haven't heard in a million years. And it's like the hip hop over there, which eventually turned into grime, was like pretty much on that old school hip hop tip to this day. Very b-boy-esque, very like beatboxing, the 5 Elements type shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man.
And the deeper you go over here, the better. They don't want to hear that stuff they heard a lot of times. Yeah, but you can throw the odd classic in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like a drum and bass set. You know, they want to hear, dude, what's this new thing? Or what's that sound? You can throw the odd classic in to keep it sort of like, you know,
right.
I don't know, familiarity. What's the word? Familiarity. To keep it
familiarity.
Without fathom.
Yeah, I want to say that's one of the Cho brothers. Shout outs to Cho brothers, Direct Drive, New York City family.
Sheesh.
He's out here coming to represent. He's talking about Direct Drive, old days of how it started and how the crowd sounded. And that's how we got into, I guess, the DMB, I guess. If I'm not saying it so fast, but you know.
Right. I mean, if we're gonna go back, if we're gonna do history thing, I need to know. Can you tell Blue Note?
Yeah.
For those who did not have the pleasure to be there, man. And I've heard stories upon stories, but you sir are the Don Dada. Like, tell us about Blue Note. Like,
this is going to be about as hard to describe as Sun and Bass.
Oh, we got to get there, but yeah, let's.
I mean, because it's kind of like, well, imagine, right? I mean, it was in a little, sort of a little trendy club before. The area Shoreditch in London became as trendy and as gentrified as it is now, you know what I mean? Right. And this room downstairs in this club only held 150 to 200 people. It wasn't very big. Now, most of that room was filled up with speakers. They brought their own sound system in. Eskimo Noise, big shout to Troy and all the guys, yeah? That took up a lot of room on the floor as well. So you can only then get in about 100 people because you had all these bass bins everywhere. Right. They didn't want this to be music to be heard on, an inferior sound system, so to speak, right? So you've got that going, and then it's like right on the verge of. Could you imagine? Like it's 95. Goldie's album Timeless has come out, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got what is now starting to be called drum and bass. Now 95 is peak, absolutely peak for Ragga Jungle, absolutely peak. And you got this new sound coming, and Goldie's album comes out and says, "There, here we are, drum and bass." Now he throws this club night now, and all the people that are into that are going down there, right? So you've got, I mean, can you imagine a room with, not every week, but most weeks there's a lot of at least 10 to 15 people in there. You've got Dillingers, Trace, you've got Ed Rush down there, you've got Nico, you've got a lot of people in there, and they would go down into Groove Rider and everybody who was like playing these new kind of flatter, steppy style rather than the breakbeat, mad, choppy beats. They want to hear that and they'd be inspired and go straight home, make something to be played on that system, because system was so fat. You want to hear your tune on that system, A, and B, you wanted to be at the forefront of, or sort of be almost kind of better than what you heard last week. So all this Dillinger stuff was coming out. Yeah, Doc Scott doing crazy stuff. You know, this was a really experimental time, and it was like there was no boundaries. There was no sort of like had to sound a certain way. It was just making itself up as it went along. So and then because it's so new and there's this new vibe around it, you had all celebrities passing through. Obviously, Goldie was seeing Bjork, and we had David Bowie. We had the Noel Gallagher. And all those sort of people. Even one time we had a venue and the Spice Girls were in there. 3 out of 4 were in there, you know what I mean? And that
3
was
out
weird.
of 4.
Yeah. I think the only one that wasn't there was
choked on vodka hearing that, but good.
Yeah, it was just, everybody was thinking, what's this new sound? What's this thing? It was like, imagine being right there at the time a new thing broke and seeing it grow. It was absolutely mad, man. Crazy.
Yeah, man. We talk about it. I remember because even when we did the reunion thing in Miami that one time, man, like the people that came out just for that, like it was just a vibe, man. There's always been stories, and I unfortunately, we weren't around for that, so I always wanted to ask you what that was about. Cause
we always heard like whispers, Blue Note,
right?
Oh, it was like we all just speculated on it, like we had no idea.
It was the training grounds,
and we're just like, but if Blue Note is like where it's okay, Goldie, okay, this must be the most incredible shit ever, and we all would just turn over our mind constantly, like what it must have been like. We had no idea, idea. We saw pictures eventually.
So, what was it for you that made that timeless album that like that time and period? Did you see was there a new crowd coming in when Goldie dropped that album? Was there something already? Like that album to me is monumental in the sense of what it means to everything we're doing right now. It's like set the tone, especially for a hip hop dude who's watching it on like a hip hop show, who's playing the Diane Charlemagne record. It brought me into my first steps of what what jungle was, drum and bass, whatever the culture was. But like you were like pretty much knee deep in it already, I'm guessing, right? So I just wanted to know, like, what was the feeling around that time? Like, what was it?
It was just like, imagine watching something grow, but you didn't realize what it was going to be. You were just there, and it was just all this new, exciting stuff all the time. We've got to charge this thing 1 second. It was just, I was cutting a lot of dub plates. I was at Music House every week, you know what I mean? And when I go on tour, I'll be having all these dub plates with me because there were just so many new people that were wanting to be part of and make tunes. They have their tune played on that sound system by those DJs. And the Groove Rider obviously became a big resident there and stuff. And it was just really, just absolutely just, you could feel the whole energy. The room was so packed, you couldn't get in there. It was sweaty. I was just, to be honest, I was really just happy to cut the queue, let alone DJ.
I mean, it sounds like the spark of something that you can't even quantify. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was no way to know how important that time was. You just knew in the moment that it was. You know what I mean? That's fucking crazy, man.
You just felt every track, and then you're like, "What's that?" Now, what I like about drum and bass is when I get it is like, you hear a sound, you're like, how did they make that sound?
Right.
Every track, every week at Blue Note was like, what is that? What is that? Wow. And it just spin you out, man. That's what was exciting about it. People going home and trying different things.
And that's what got me into drum and bass. Like, as a hip hop head, when I walked into a drum, like, at that point in time, I was experimenting. I go to house parties and like I would rap over house and two-step and breaks, just like on, in headphones or whatever. Then I started going to raves, and I walked into a drum and bass room after I was already introduced to drum and bass, but I walked in that room to hear it on a sound system, not just over headphones or in the car.
Right.
And at that point in time, that's when I was, as a hip hop head, I was also not just into break beats and bass, but like the Master Aces of the world, putting 15s in my trunks to get that sound. When you heard drum and bass, like bring those bass lines out that would just rattle your fucking brain, and I was just like, what is that? It's like, then it became like, all right, this is funky, but there's a scientific element to this that I need to know what is going on. You know what I mean? Like, that has always driven me. When people say, why do you like drum and bass so much? I'm like, well, besides me going into a deep soliloquy about how all the cultures mixed into this one beautiful thing, it's scientifically mind-boggling, from the break patterns to the synths themselves, and what people used to do to make these sounds from analog to now digital is intriguing to me, and it wakes me up in the morning. Like, this is truly the future of sound, whether anyone wants to embrace that or not.
Yeah.
And, you know,
it just sounded totally futuristic as well. It sounded like you were listening to, or you were watching Terminator or something like that. It sounded so like robots, didn't it? It was like, just like, what is this? And the biggest, thickest, concrete-y snares, man. It was crazy, man. Real good times. I want to address something that Fat Buddha TV has put in the chat.
Yeah, that's Cliff. That's Cliff.
Yeah,
okay,
Cliff,
all right, Cliff.
Big up Soul. Big up Soul in the chat. Thank you for the bits too, by the way.
Cliff Soul.
Cliff Soul. Yeah,
Cliff. Oh,
yeah,
wow. I ain't seen him for
New York.
ages. Okay, what's up, Cliff? Bailey was rewinding that Dom and Roland tune at Blue Note. He's talking about Thunder, right? Now, for ages, I've been hearing somebody play this tune on dub plate. I thought it was Dillinger, right? Then I found out that it was, because of the way the beats were chopped up in the aim and stuff, I found it was Dom and Roland. Now, this track was more or less dead, you know what I mean? It wasn't coming out. Now, what happened was, with that track, it was supposed to be coming out on Prototype Recordings, Groove Riders label, right? And the other side of it was called, God, I forgot what it's called, man. But it came out in the end on 31 Records. The story here is that the other side of Thunder sounded too much like Subway by Ed Rush, which is already out on Prototype. It had the same bass line. So Groove dropped the release, and I said, Dom, I heard this tune is yours. I got the tune. Oh, you know, I played that tune to death, man. That's my tune. It's still a bad tune. Played it to death, and then it ended up coming out on his next album. You know what I mean? That tune was it was the end of that tune. You know what I mean? Amazing tune. Yeah,
Thunder, huh?
That one side was ended up, I forgot what it was, but Prisms. I think it's called Prisms for 31 Records. That was sounded too much like Subway and Prototype, so the release got dropped. But I totally championed that Thunder tune. It was an amazing tune, because you could, the way the breaks went, you could cut it in and out, and it just went so well with everything, man.
So at what point were you able to get the opportunity to actually DJ overseas, and what was that like?
Your first time seeing the Western world?
Well, not necessarily the Western world, anywhere overseas where you're seeing drum and bass outside of the UK confines. What was that like? And how, I don't know, I mean, did it seem like the people that you were seeing were getting it?
It was such a small and gradual step in terms of like audience, that it wasn't like I'd arrived and there was this massive audience, everyone going nuts, and like, wow. The first time I went abroad was about 96, something like that. I went to Germany. I went to Berlin. This is before. Actually, no. Hang on a minute. It was about 96. And MC Flux, who was a good friend of Groove Rider.
Flux, yeah. I've heard
he was MCing everywhere, and he took me over to this place called the Toaster. Now the guy who owns the Toaster now owns what's that big place in Berlin now? Oh man, it's right by the river. I forgot what it's called. But it was just a little place. Definitely couldn't even hold more than 70 people like that. You know what I mean? But I was kind of like, wow, I'm in Germany. But I was more excited about, I've got all these tunes to play. I've got all these dub plates. You know what I mean? And it was like, I mean, that was the first place. I mean, before America became the home of drum and bass, it was Germany. It was Germany, to the point where the scene grew so much that they ended up having their own producers, their own MCs, their whole infrastructure they built there. And I was going to Germany so much from then. I was just more or less, I was there. Well, a lot of people were there, like every weekend in Germany, going around doing tours. 97, we did the tour with Nico for the album. What's the album called? How can I forget this? It was an amazing tour. Me, Ed Rush, Fierce, Nico, Rhyme Time.
Sheesh.
Rhyme Time.
That wasn't for Wormhole, was it?
No, it was the first No U-Turn album.
It was the first one, right?
Yeah, the very first one. Talk.
Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Talk. Okay. And there's some serious stories. We went around Germany. That was the first real album tour, drum and bass wise, that Germany had seen. So we watched the growth of it, and some nights were a little bit quiet, some were amazing, but it was nice to be again on the edge of seeing stuff grow. And there was some crazy stories from that tour that I cannot tell.
I'm sure that it's a
marriages will be
new world this year.
Marriages will be broken up. People will be going to jail.
Lord,
debauchery.
I tell people, my wife says hello, by the way. Because I was like, it's funny. I was like, yeah, we're having Bailey on, and she was like, my mom's dog, and I was like, no. And I was like, remember Bailey? We went on tour with Goldie back then, and we were on the plane, and she was like, oh yeah, I love him so much. I was like, we all love him. Let me, and I mean this to the fullest extent I can say it. When people ask me what is the greatest drum and bass set I've ever seen, and I'm sure there's people in the chat who can verify me saying this every single time. My favorite set, clearly, like it's not even remotely close.
Oh, we going there.
Was the night you in Miami at a Metalheads night. Scream played, Goldie played, what you call it? Who was there? Tommy Lee was there randomly. After you dug in, I think Goldie rewound like every tune you dropped, like the whole second half of your set. You were I believe you were the last person to play. Scream played before you, and then you were the last person to play, and you fucking destroyed that place. It was the best set I've ever seen, and to this day, I wasn't even jacked up. Like we were all just like in complete awe that you completely shut it down. But like I said, you're everybody's DJ's favorite DJ. What inspires you most when you're like searching for tunes? Like I know that you don't care where it comes from or what style it is. It's just like you're about equal opportunity. As long as it sounds fire, you're gonna throw it in a set, right?
Yeah, you've kind of said it all there. Really, my thing is like I have to be brutally honest about how I'm feeling about the track. Even if like Dillinger or Photek sent me a tune and it just happened recently actually, somebody who's making a comeback, who was a big producer for back in the day, sent a track, hey, this is a world exclusive, you can play this first. And I was like, no disrespect here, but I'm just not really into the track that much. You have to be, I don't care who makes it, it has to be, I have to really, I was diplomatic about it, don't get me wrong.
It's fucking shit.
But this is terrible. I'm joking. I have to be honest about like if it's not moving a part of me, here or here, then how am I expecting anybody else to be feeling that way too?
Absolutely.
Right.
So much stuff that I just kind of like I put aside because it's like, nah, that's not really the one, you know what I mean? And it goes through this heavy filtering system as well. You get the initial track, you listen to them all, you put stuff aside that I'm definitely going to use, and I put stuff aside I'm not really sure about. Then I'll wait a couple of days. Then I'll go back and listen again. Fresh airs. Okay, what? I put that in there, my man. All right, chuck that in the bin. And then and then there's other ones where it's like, yeah, that is me. That is me. And I think for me, really, the most interesting music is coming from younger artists or people who are not heard of because they don't have those boundaries of I've got to fix this brand, it's got to sound a certain way, they just, it's raw, really raw stuff. And I like the younger producers, man. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with like, there are like staple diet producers right now. L-Side's my favorite right now.
L-Side, shout out, my God,
you can't stop that guy.
Yeah, L-Side's the homie.
Yeah,
absolute.
If I have to be at a point whereby it's like, all right, what am I getting from this? You know what I mean? It can't be just because it's the newest thing or it's by this artist. I have to want to play it, I have to. Well, then again, there are exceptions like Photek. You know what I mean? Photek something, and it was a bit dark, but I was like, you know what? I didn't think, to be honest, it was a good track, and I didn't think the audience would understand it, but I was like, I've got to show them that, he's still around, he's still doing stuff, and it was a good track. It was good.
Yeah, he's got a couple in the pocket right now. He's hiding from everybody.
I guess that's been the balance for the overall, I guess, selling point of the genre, if we want to call it a selling point, is that whenever it goes like super dark, it's a certain kind of community of people that just won't look at that. And that's why I've always felt like presentation has been number one for us, key here in the States especially, to figure out how to find that balance so we can give them a little bit of that two-step slap and then just hit them with the rah, you know what I mean? And you know, it takes a DJ. It takes a DJ. Best way to say it.
It's a whole process of education. You have to try and push something in there that, I mean, there's a difference for a DJ. There's a difference between what you think people want to hear and what you think they need to hear. You know what I mean? So you can guess all day and play all the obvious tracks, but you have to go, but this one is busting my head. They've got to hear this. You know what I mean? And that's what happened in Miami. You see, especially in particular when I'm playing the last set and everything's rinsed out. Right. I'm like, okay, I've got to think about this now. All right. We're talking days and days of digging around. And it's not just that year. It's like, okay, that one, from time ago. I'm going to play that one and that one and that one and that one. You just line it up and then you have what you want to play. And then when you get there, you see what's being played, you see where the audience is going, and you say, all right, this one. But you have one tune that you really, really want, like, that no one's got, but you work your way to it. You go up and down in the set. It's the same with anyone. Like I played years ago, Shy FX night in Herbal London. And I was playing, big up Shy. I was playing directly after Shy FX. Now Shy, is a dub plate master. He gets his own specials made any day of the week. He can. So I'm like, how am I going to follow this? I was like, okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to play these tracks with the ragga samples in it, and I'm going to play the originals. You know what I mean? And I think DJ Hyper played that night, and he actually missed his gig because he was like, what's going on? It blew his mind to be hearing all this original reggae stuff. Now, you wouldn't expect people to be reacting to this, but because they recognize the samples, they are sort of, and they just thought it was another version basically, but I think they kind of understood it was the original versions as well. And those kind of things you can do if you think really carefully about it. You don't have to have actually a big bag of dub plates.
Right.
You just have to just think out of the box a little bit, but connect it with the music at the same time. You can do whatever you want, and so many directions you can go.
And I think that's why I tell people you are who you are, because there are a lot of DJs who do that in hip hop too. There's a very weird line a lot of DJs try to take when you're doing what you say, when you're playing what the crowd wants and you feel the obligation to teach at so. And what a lot of DJs end up with the problem is they're too hardcore on one or the other. While people like you, people like Craze can flawlessly weave in and make it entertaining. And you're like, you don't even that was the night in Miami. It was like, to the heads, we were, no pun intended, to the heads, we were in the back like, you guys have no idea how much you're being educated right now because it's just being hit over the head so much and it's flowing with everything else. It's like, yo, you get into this thing where DJs play, either what's new and then they forget, and then you have that conversation of like, it's old, it's been out for 6 months, and you're like, what the fuck? And then and then you hear you play and you pull out a tune that I loved from 5 years ago. We're just like, oh shit, I forgot about this, and then you'll play that and the original sample with it, and it's just so much like groove and vibe and party in that people don't realize. Like, you're still going on a journey, and it takes a special. That's a special gift, man.
See, what is good to keep check on is the cycle of music. How many times does jungle? You had the original jungle, then it went quiet. Then you had digital came back and Reinforced did his thing and all that, right? Digital. He had his own label and function, and he did the jungle thing. Then it went quiet again. Then Marcus Visionary, Benny Page, and all these people were doing their thing. Then jungle came again. Then it went quiet again. Then you had Aries came in, you know what I mean?
Aries, Chapstick Boys, Chapstick Subplay Boys.
Right.
It goes in cycles. So all those things you might think that you might not have been able to play on that tip ages ago, you have to remember that because you can bring them back again. People might not have caught the first phase or the second phase. You can go back and say,
I'm surprised I won't see lighters on that part. You just said in the key point, you have to go back to them. And
lighters in the chat. Flames
lighters in the chat. Y'all know good tunes never die, man. Good tunes never die.
And it's funny because you see DJs who treat that like, all right, well, now I have to play a whole section of this. And it's just like, all right, if I'm going to do it, then I'm just going to do it for this thing, and then we'll go back to what we were doing. It's like, you don't have to do that. Like, you just play what you need to play. Like,
and I don't always have a whole bunch of tracks. Like, I might want to go a certain way, or I might not always have that. So you've got to find another way to find stuff that you're happy to play as well. I'm not just going to go and play a whole bunch of new stuff because it's new. It's just got to be right for that moment. And people will say to me, oh, what's it like in America? What's it like here? What's it like there? It depends on everything. The social climate depends on the weather. Is the club full? Is the sound system good? Is there an MC? You know, that's a big difference. MC or no MC, massive difference. So everything, you could have one bag of records, but you might just go, right, I need to pull this now. You have to know, you can't turn up with a set that is like pre-planned. You can fall on your ass.
You actually have to DJ? What?
Yeah,
you actually have to. You actually have to select.
You mean you can change?
You got to keep playing the plates till they move, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of people also like to look at us, like a lot of cats in the UK kind of consider us on the Western world historians of the sort, because we're so crazy about the history of drum and bass, which is weird in a sense, even though we're a small community and all that. So when you had said about the whole playing the records, most of the cats, especially in New York, they waiting for you to drop one of them golden ones, you know what I mean? One of them duddy ones, like, oh, he played it, and then everybody loses their mind. So it's weird because traditionally, as an American, ears are tuned to be top 40 ears mostly. You know what I mean? It's only now that I would say over the last 15 years that it's been more culturally pushed. Don't get me wrong, like the 90s, like the golden era was its own thing. You know, you can't describe that. And I don't think anybody in America could describe it, actually. All they could tell you is that you missed out all the time. That was like
Gary, thank you for the follow. I don't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I just wanted to add that in there, that you know, the idea of going back and bringing it forward is an amazing thing that I wish more people would do.
Yeah, my whole go ahead, Van.
No. I wanted to actually go. Speaking of going back, I wanted to go back because this is something that always really interests me. But anybody who's creative, especially music, there comes that time in their young life where they discover music that's their own music, that's not their parents, it's not their older brothers, it's their own. Like, they discovered it and it's like, oh, this is my shit. What was the first piece of music that you realized that you liked on your own? Your parents didn't necessarily listen to it. Maybe you heard it on the radio, maybe your friend had it, but it was like kind of your own discovery, and it wasn't like introduced to you by somebody else necessarily, like your parents or your siblings or anything like that.
I was at school, man, in like 1982. And this little spotty kid came up to me and said, hey, have you heard this? You know what I mean? It was like a bootleg cassette of Electro, Volume 1. We had a Street Sound series. I was like, what's this? And I heard all Egypt, and all that stuff. And I was like, what is this, a robotics thing, man? And I listened to the whole tape. It had the Smurf on there. It had, and I was like, man, this is amazing. So that kind of started my love for hip hop. You know, before then it was my parents' records. You know, you had the reggae albums. My mom was like really into Motown a lot. But it wasn't until I got that cassette and I was like, what's this music, man? Wow. Okay. Then I bought the second volume, the third volume. Actually, I got my mum to buy me the third volume because, Mum, can you buy me that, please? And then, actually, I remember for my birthday, one year she bought me Malcolm McLaren Duck Rock album. With Buffalo Girls on it. Yeah. And that's what I was like, oh. Then I saw the whole culture. You know, had the graffiti on the cover. You could see the break dancers. The whole culture, I followed it from there, man. That was when it first was like, what is all this other music, you know? Right on top of when it was just breaking in the UK.
Yeah, I remember like listening to, you know, a little bit of R&B growing up because of my mom's and jazz and smooth jazz and stuff like that. Even some of the top 40, like your Tina Turners and shit like that. Like, but yeah, all the Pink Cadillac, all that shit. Like, fucking, I remember when I switched over to hip hop growing up because, you know what I'm saying, it was just school and hanging with people. And then being nothing but a hip hop head, going through MC battles, and then finally like stepping out to a party and going to raves and like hearing house music or two-step or breaks, like really listening to it for the first time, and my mind being completely blown of just like, wait, what is this other world that I haven't been paying attention to? Like, when you finally like led that all the way to drum and bass, man, it's a crazy experience to think about. Even now, talking to old heads that I used to roll with that still don't listen to anything but hip hop, and they're just like, I don't get that techno shit, and you're just like, bro, I'm trying to. Trying to open up a universe to you, man.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. There was a stereotype that went with this early house music, you know, because it came from essentially black gay discos in New York and stuff like that.
Right.
There's a stereotype that went with the music when it came around. So you might have people from school goes, "What's this gay stuff you listen to?" There's a lot of homophobia around that time.
What?
Big time homophobia.
Big time. Big time. So if you was listen to that, we'd listen to that gay music for, you know, and it was it wasn't a problem, but it's just sort of like, what is your problem? It's just music, you know. So there was definitely sort of at the beginning of it. Even like you speak to Frost about this, he will tell you that his friends would look at him like, but they were into reggae, you know. He's from Brixton man. Yeah, it'd be like, well, you listen to that stuff.
Go on with the techno, man.
Walk on, Richard. Hey, blood. You know what I mean? So yeah, the division was definitely there. I know what you're saying, Armani.
Yeah, I've asked this to every UK head to see if I can get a proper answer. I think Bailey, you're the one that can give me an answer to this. These guys already know where I'm going, and I'm just going to ask it because I just like asking it. But what to you is the description of new wave music? What
new wave?
What is new wave music?
Even the chat's like, all right, like for real. Again.
Is that a thing now? I thought that was something from the 80s.
Wait, yeah, it was.
It is.
It was from the 80s.
Okay.
I don't know what new wave is. It's been talked about like as far as part of our livelihoods, and it's always been like this is new wave, and I didn't know what the hell it was, but they market it as a UK thing.
I'm not sure. I think it fell somewhere in between new romantic and 80s pop. You know, you had your Ultravox and all that sort of stuff, right? And the new wave was that. It felt for me anyway. New wave was kind of like that look where they would like, you know, the guys would do their whole faces painted white, do the teardrop thing.
I'm laughing because the chat's snapping again. Like, are you serious?
I see it.
We having this goddamn conversation.
It felt like that was it. It was a strange time.
This is the last time I'm asking the question. I swear to God.
We have to ask the man who's an educator. You know what I'm saying? That's
you know what I mean?
How long have you been teaching now?
About 4 years.
Sheesh.
4 years strong.
So university level, yeah?
Yeah, university. So I teach radio broadcasting.
2 separate universities, right? Middlesex and where else?
Well, I teach a Point Blank Music School, and they are under the guise of Middlesex, so they're like the music department, so to speak, or part of the music department. Yeah, we're doing that for. Yeah, I'm an actual lecturer now. Ooh. So I'm just like, what? But it's great.
Nice.
Very nice, sir. You're an adult.
Yeah, and I take a real casual approach to it as well because, I don't like the whole, rigid. I'm the teacher. You must listen. I'll go drinking with students. I'll invite them to, hey, I'm playing here. Come. It depends. Some that don't gel quite like that, but
right.
I like to keep it as like casual as possible, well, within reason. To be honest, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Don't go too far.
It keeps it.
Yeah.
Right.
Natural.
So
at the university level, you can do that. I can't do that with my students. They're
I wouldn't suggest that.
They still have pimples, so they can't. They won't.
I'm curious to the creation of Soul Emotion. Honestly, one of my most favorite moments is actually at one of your events, as I might say, coming into London for pretty much the first time ever for me. And I'm going in there, and people are like, "MC Track, what's going on?" And I'm taking pictures and doing all this.
Yeah.
I keep being told to go. I need to.
And Step Tune was playing. I think the DJ was. I can't remember, but it was funny. I walked up to him. He's like, "Oh, you're here," and it was like one of my most famous nights. To the point that I literally ran out of the space because I needed to get home. It was getting too much. It was blowing my head up too crazy, and I had enough. But I honestly love what you guys are doing. I just wanted to hear a little background about how you and Moses is together.
Yeah, Moses, Need for Mirrors, yeah.
Need for Mirrors, yeah. People
are fanatical about the music there. They're in it. And it's deliberate that we kind of offer them stuff that is kind of like, not what you're going to hear. Okay, look, let's just start from the beginning because, we had a lot of midweek nights that were really successful. We had Swerve, we had Movement, and then all of a sudden, there was none for years, for about 5 years, was nothing. So all you would get is like a fabric or whatever big venue, it would be branded nights, Shogun, Hospital, this, that, right? That's all you would get. So there was nothing in between. So we said, instead of complaining about it, let's just try something. And I said to Nifrimez, I said, I'm not interested in doing this unless we do it for a minimum of 5 years. Because from what I've seen in everything, the 5-year point seems to be a point where people realize that you're there to stay, and everybody's recognized that you know this thing is going on. You know what I mean? So we started the night, and I said, look, to be honest, like, I don't care if we don't get paid nothing at all. Just make sure that we can get our cab fares home. That's all I need. You know what I mean? Let's just do it at that level. And well, 6 years later, here we are. You know what I mean? I mean, there was, check it though. I want you to check on this as well, because there was nothing weekdays at all. As soon as Solo Motion started, look at the amount of weekdays there are.
Happened out of the blue, yes.
It's a bang. Loads of people, you know what I mean?
So why did you guys go weekly though?
It was never weekly. Oh, you mean like recently, or?
Yeah, because, well, I mean, obviously before the pandemic and everything, but you guys switched to weekly. So what prompted that switch?
It's a matter of circumstance. Everything that we've done has not been right. We're going to do this. It's a matter of what we needed to do to make it work. So the whole guest list thing, the first club we did was the basement, which is underneath this 5-star hotel called Edition in the West End, right? Central London. There hasn't been nothing in the West End for years, right? Now, because they're not allowed to charge money to get in, and it's a private members club, they can only take guest list names. That's why the guest list thing came around. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's how it happened. And it's like, we went to another hotel, it was the same thing there. We went to another hotel, it was the same thing there.
Same thing.
And then we went to another venue, went to the Orange Yard, and they wanted us to do weekly. And it's, if we didn't do weekly, then it would be us 1 week and someone else another week. And we was like, well,
no, fuck that.
We'll just
got a chance to just go ahead and do it. I got you.
Yeah, everything's a matter of circumstance. So it was never right, we're going to push for this now. It was kind of like, can we do it? Okay, look, let's just do that. Let's just, we can, we'll make that work. And so that's why.
Is weekly though, what's your ideal recurring event? Is it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? Is there like a different quality to each of those things that you prefer?
From what I've learned, not really. But I do prefer bi-weekly, because there's more time to absorb who's on the lineup, the next lineup. You got 1 week to turn over the next one and get everybody to know who it is. That's why we trickle out, individual names, this person, that person, that person. But if you've got 2 weeks, I mean, think of it in this way as well. It's like, if I post something on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, it's not till 4 days later that post reaches its peak. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not till 4 days till everyone's seen it. You know what I mean? You're like, wow, people are reacting to this now. So imagine you got to turn an event round in a week. It's just the breathing space for that event is quite tight. So I would prefer fortnightlies. If I could.
Yeah, we understand. I mean, just even the turnaround of this, doing it every single week, is a very interesting. When you're like, I want to promote the last thing we did while also promoting the next guest. It's an interesting dichotomy. Of course, you're doing it on a much larger scale when you're throwing venues, but the ideology is the same.
Yeah, and it's really. It's really welcoming overall. All I know is that the one place that I could probably get super sauced, fall into a joint laughing in the couch somewhere, and right next to me is another dude laughing, and we're rejoicing, and I'm going, oh, wait a minute, that's Serum. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Oh! And it turns into this whole thing. So a lot of cats feel comfortable going there just to go hang out. Me and Makoto had an amazing time the first time around. We
look after people. We just want to let people know that they've got a place where they're welcome. They're going to be looked after, basically.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. Yeah, but I wanted to bring up Soul Emotion, and that's where we are. Let's talk about. So wait a minute, where do you fit in with the whole Sun and Bass situation? Were you there from the beginning? Were you there along the way?
I was there. I've been to every single one.
Oh shit!
How many years has it been? It's been like 16 years,
almost
or something like that.
17 years, almost, I believe.
Yeah,
Jesus, really?
So originally,
no big deal.
There's nothing like it, man. There is nothing like it. It's one of the most hardest things to describe to anybody.
Yes,
it's a real personal.
Absolutely.
It's a personal experience. How it turns out can really depend on who you hang out with. You know what I mean? If you've got people who are going to be drinking, then yeah. But overall, it's kind of like Well, the main thing is it's like slow motion in it. There ain't no backstage in it.
No.
You know, and it's like a quaint little place. And you could be, you know, just walking to wherever, the beach, whatever, and see whoever, like you or whoever's at the festival.
How many
casually walking about, and people can, you know, they talk to you. It's like just everybody just all friends all together in one place, and no sort of like.
It's the VIP of festivals. That's what I call it. Actually, it's when it's great. Imani, one of these days.
I know. As I was gonna say, like, if out of all the festivals that I've been like. That everyone's like, you're slipping, that's the one. Everyone's like, this. If there's any festival you need to stop and go over to, it's Sun and Bass. So
just people just casually hanging around all around the place. Imagine, you're right, Track, you know what I mean? Imagine it's like you got the VIP room, but that is the whole festival.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody's together. There's no separation between the artists and the people that are paying to go. It's just sort of like, and it's a real nice vibe. It's real natural and real organic. And I think that's what makes it special.
That's dope.
Lord, like, I mean, it's highly missed now. My whole timeline the last week has been all about pictures from the past, and it lets you know how special it was overall. And we all got moments, and you know, just the whole. I just want to get past this whole virus situation.
Yeah, I know.
We can open those doors.
The first time I went actually to actually answer your question was with I can't remember what year it was, man. 16 years
something.
ago.
Yeah, something.
I was with SS. World of Drum and Bass. World of Drum. Yeah, we were just kind of doing tours, and there was just this one gig in Sardinia. I was like, Sardinia, where is that? You know what I mean? So we went over there, and it wasn't quite the vibe that it was now. It took about 4 or 5 years for the audience to be solid, like every year. You know, and the tickets sell out in like 10 minutes these days.
Nowadays,
right? Yeah. So that was the first time I went, and I'm not sure how the connection between me and Stefano happened, or Martina, who are the organizers.
Shouts to both of them.
Yeah, shouts to them for doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
But it just like I kept getting invited back every year. For the first about 4 years, I was actually just coming in weekdays because I always had something to do with the weekend elsewhere, wherever in the UK or whatever. But then Martina said to me, "No, this is ridiculous. You're family now. You need to stay longer." So for the last 10 years, I've been every the whole week, and we did the La Posta, the unofficial opening party at the beginning of it, all that sort of stuff. So that is, my gosh, you know what? The amount of people I'm just like, you need to come to this, and I cannot really explain.
You cannot explain.
And I miss festivals where we actually go for the whole week too. I'm gonna make it a point to go. I'm slipping. It's my bad.
We got time. Hey, everybody should try to make it a point to go at some point in time. It'll be worth your while. Trust me. It's sort of a fantasy island ordeal / drum and bass, and it's done exceptionally well. Vibes, the people, the locals, everything it's Plus, you got people like us who you see who'll give you some shortcuts here and there whenever you go. Don't even worry about it. But
I've seen, like, there have been people I've invited. I remember one particular case, a guy called Todd, who I've been saying, "Man, you need to go, blah, blah, blah." And I tried to explain to him that, you've not been anywhere where you've seen people emotionally get moved when they need to go home and actually start crying.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, isn't that a thing? Isn't that weird?
Oh, my God. I cried in the airport listening to my first set ever, crying that I did. Number one, I was going through all kinds of nervous reactions and shock because it was my first time abroad, and I'm now meeting people and I'm seeing and people are telling me all these stories about this song and that song, and I'll get a chance to listen to my mix as we're on layover for 2 hours, and I'm going, wow, I just kind of completed a huge deal in my part of a career, and I was just like, I couldn't stop. I literally could not stop for like a good 5 minutes.
It's just the maddest thing. I've never seen it before. Like just people who just they just got like the thought of going home got them really emotional.
Absolutely.
Just like, and it's, I mean, Sun and Bass is basically, if you wanted your perfect rave, it's not about euphoria. It's about everybody as one.
Yes.
Right. Everybody as one. Everybody, you look and you don't know everybody, but you can see that everybody feels the way you do. Like everybody. There's no one's kind of being waste man on the side, blah blah blah.
Right,
Everybody's on the same level, and that's what we always hope for, right? And then you realize that how special it is when you realize you got to go back to where you came from, and then you're like, am I ever going to feel that way again? You know what I mean, dude?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You hit La Chinta Beach on the last day. You swim in that clear ass water. You're like this on the water.
Everyone's so nice.
You look to the left and you see these amazing mountains, and you look to the right and it's just all white sand, and then you're going, wait a minute, I gotta leave here tomorrow. Are you fucking
yeah?
And it just takes over you. But that's honestly, like, even what I'm saying, I don't feel I'm doing enough justice to what the experience is.
Yeah, it's difficult to say.
You know?
I mean, even I think people are skeptical because it's only a smaller festival budget wise compared to those massive Outlook things and all that. I think they were trying to get hold of Goldie for a long time, and there's been a number of people who've actually managed to get out there for the first time.
Yes.
And I was like, just because they know me, I don't lie about shit. I'm not a bullshitter. I'm just like, please, just trust me. Just go, and if you don't like it, then fine. You know what I mean? So Goldie went over there, and that same day, I caught him at. He was at, where everyone congregates. What's the hotel called? Al Faro. Al Faro.
Yes.
He was sat there with a towel, just looking around.
Screw facing?
No, he wasn't upset at all. He was just like, oh, he got it straight within a few hours of being there. He understood it wasn't about megastars and popping champagne off and all that. Everybody's just chilling and enjoying music on a pure level together, and that's big shout to Devious, by the way, Bass Drive.
Big shout to Devious, Bass Drive family.
Yeah, boy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's a similar vibe as like the first time we went to Shams, and it was like, okay, this is a different thing. So I would love to experience that sometime in the near future. Me and Lieutenant Reed in the chat talking about going out there. So.
Yeah, well, I would say the best advice I can give is not to expect anything. Just go.
Yeah,
and,
just go.
But
just
you knew that
go back and observe. Yeah,
I know that because everyone that I talk to never gives an expation.
No, this is really hard.
No one has ever been like, yo, you need to go, because they're like, yo, they're just like, oh, just go. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Even if you don't, even if you go and you sort of just don't really, not that you would, but if you don't interact as much, you sit back and watch what's going on, and the way people are and how natural it feels. You're just like, wow, this is real nice.
Absolutely. There's just too much pluses on top of pluses, on top of pluses, on top of just being in a space that, like, it honestly resets you for the year in a sense, because you're like, damn, this is the nicest place you've been in ages, and it just when you're ready to go, you're ready to go. Yes, you miss it, but you can't wait for next year automatically off the top. And,
big shout out to. Sorry to interrupt. It's just
it's all good.
Some people are saying stuff in the chat room. Esoteric 1982. Thank you for the music and inspiration. You're welcome. What can I say? Benzo Kane. Benzo Kane's in there.
Benzo Kane, what's up, Benzo? What up, baby?
Now you've got Sugar Brat and you've got or Sugar B
MJ
and you've got Benzo. I mean, wholeheartedly throwing their entire lives into this music, man. I support those kind of people all day long. You know what I mean? All day long.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was thanking her the other day for everything she's been doing for the chat, and we just went into a complete downward spiral of thinking about the good old days, man. Like, not just good old days, the days are still great, but how long we've actually all been doing this, and how small these circles are and stuff, man. She pulled up a picture of her, Jose, and Clancy. And Clancy looks like he's 16, and like that dude's like, everyone who knows Clancy Silver is like my brother. Like he's the super mega tour manager of the world now for Adventure Club and things like that. But he's just like the nicest guy in the world, man. The fact that we've all been around for so long, from government to Miami to across seas, I've been on tour with you a million times. I've seen some of your best. That's another thing I appreciate is you were one of the DJs who never came over here and played differently than you did over there, and I always commended you for that, because there was a lot of DJs that would come over, and it was funny because I would always tell people who would be in chat rooms and I was like, you guys haven't even been over there yelling about whatever. They sometimes you play different, because you're not going to play anthems all the time while you're home. right? But you never did that. You came over and you played the same way all the time. It was just as futuristic as it was nostalgic. I noticed you've been doing with your new miso with the flashbacks to entire years.
Oh yes,
you do that.
Yeah,
nice little series.
It's the last one actually. Friday, today. Yeah, Friday. I think there's been a massive disconnect with the younger generation of people that are into the music and the past. So
absolutely,
I'm always on. My whole thing accidentally falls into the role of educating people on the music. I will always be like, hey, this dub plate and this story and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So what I've done now is I've created a feature with myself and Donovan Bad Boy Smith and
Donovan Bad Boy Smith.
Yep.
Yeah. So every week for the second hour of the show, we'd go back to a specific year in the music. So I wanted to focus the years between 1989 and 1999, 11 shows, because I think that's where the most change happened. Because 89 started with house, and then you get out of house and the breakbeat thing, you get the jungle, and I think by the time you got to 2000 and then Bad Company happened, that beat more or less stayed the same from them. I think before that point you had a lot more percussive elements, break beats and stuff, but from when Bad Company hit in 2000, everybody wanted to be like Bad Company, so the beat just stayed boom cap, just like that all the time. So I want to just highlight that period and show people, look, this is what what you have now, this is where it all came from, you know what I mean? So that's why I did that, you know what I mean? I'm willing to that. And my biggest thing right now is it's always been a thing that just especially talking about on radio shows, if the time's right, talking about these dub plates and versions of tunes that never came out. I mean, the collection is just crazy. And because people know that I'm into it, they've just been giving me stuff. So there's two other versions of, what do you call it? The Dot Scott tune. Every Day of My Life. It was on the first Metalheads, Platinum Breaks. Something Ghost. What's it called? Unofficial Ghost.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. There's like an unreleased version of Angels. Angels Fell. There's unreleased version. Yeah, there's loads of other versions out there, man. I'm telling you.
I mean, what are those dats that Goldie showed us a couple episodes ago? I guess it was in
there. The stacks of dats.
Yeah, he was literally pulling out safety deposit boxes full of dats.
Look at these dats.
I mean, I still have some of the original Blue Notes, the actual tapes that went into the Blue Note DAT machine to record the sessions. I have some of those here still because Storm had some and Goldie had some somewhere, and then
Storm,
they wanted me.
Out Storm.
Shout out to Storm. They want me to sit through it all, but there was loads of unmarked ones that I needed to listen to hear if the MC mentioned who it was and stuff. And I mean, what people don't realize is like, if you played at Blue Note back in the day, if you DJ'd 1 week, when you went back the following week, you'd get a cassette of your set plus cassettes of everybody else who played that night.
Sure. So
if I played alongside Crust and Lee, I'd go back and I'd get cassettes. I've got them right here somewhere. I'd get cassettes with them on it as well, So you'd collect all these sets, man, with all these dub plates. Absolutely mad, you know what I mean? Good times, man. Real experimental times.
It's like, so when are we going to hear those?
that is.
They need to get digitized and mastered and all kinds of madness.
Just go ahead and send that to my email.
All right, now this is going to be risky, but I'm going to tell you that I had I've still got them. I have about 50, 60 tapes. Bear in mind, these were never sold. They were only given to the DJs that played, right?
Right.
I've digitized all of them.
Oh, shit!
Oh, Lord!
And I haven't told... this is the first time I've said anything about it. Goldie's has even...
Roti And Poutine exclusive business, you know what I'm saying?
So I've got a big folder like this with all these sets that have never been heard before, never been online.
And you're sending it to our inboxes right now.
We're going to do a whole Blue Note special next week. Speaking of, if you can hear us next guest, you're canceled.
So, I didn't want to be mean, but the thing is, like, potentially what could happen is, you've got these sendings to us, and it's sort of like, well, you guys should be doing that work, not me. I'm not going to spend all this time, but I'm going to take that, digitizing it, making it sound like enough, working out. Some of it wasn't marked properly, some of the tapes, just to hand it over. So that's why I haven't mentioned it, because I didn't want my hard work just to be, hey, give that to me.
That is Bailey saying, get on my level.
Just so you know, Bailey, it's mostly an American fan base here, so the LA still sleep. I mean, UK still sleeping.
No, I mean, even so, like, respect that. It's you. It's, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I made that effort, you know, and I cared enough to do that. So I think the people who own the stuff should care enough as well if they really want it. I mean, the tapes are there. It's not that hard, you know. I just like. You got a double tape deck. I put 2 tapes in. They auto reverse. You just run the recorder overnight, come back and chop them up. You know what I mean?
And win.
Make sure they're loud enough.
Well, I'm looking forward to whatever you do with that, sir.
I'm sure something's going to come out of that. Something's got to come out of that.
They don't belong to me, so I can't do anything with them.
I mean, you can make a call.
I can't do anything.
By the way, guys, I did a little.
At least you can get yours up. You can get yours out.
Oh, maybe, yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Actually, I could do that. Should I? Nah, that's just. I was going to say, shall I show you the list?
So that's a dick move.
No, that's wrong. No.
All right, I'll tell you what. Since we've teased everybody a little bit. How about we know we do be anticipated? So how about we play a little bit of music from you right now, if you don't mind.
Let's play Sugar. Let's play Sugar.
You like it? I was
Sugar. Yeah, I was gonna say which one do you want to play, but Sugar. That's the decision for you. Thank you for coming on our show to.
Yeah, I'm over here just jumping in the future. I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the man what he wanted us to play, but you know.
Now people think this is Marvin Gaye in this sample, but it's not. It's not even him.
Oh wow!
It's not a Marvin Gaye sample.
What sample is it?
I can't tell you that.
You can't tell me that.
No, to be honest, I can't remember.
No, he should have just left it. We were good. All right, so we're gonna play this one. It's Bailey.
This came out in V a while ago, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna give it a flashback, and you guys know what to do in the chat. This is Roti and Poutine with the one and only DJ Bailey, the MC track, the Valiant, myself, and Monty Rain. Big up.
Nice.
Give it a rip.
Every Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are live with the DJ Bailey. This one is called Sugar.
Hey, Chatty, can I get the Bob Ross emoji on this one? Anybody got the Bob Ross emoji? I need that real quick.
Roti and Poutine, you're live and direct with the DJ Bailey. Special guest tonight. Sounds of the MC track. Valiant MC, myself and Armani Rain. Every Thursday we are right here. Twitch.tv/Armani Rain. Shout out everybody in the chat throwing up them fire emojis. What's up?
Big up all Bob Ross crew.
Shout out to Bob Ross emojis. Taking it back.
Yo, Sugar Brap might be on something. We need to get our own emoji faces one day, bro.
Sugar. Roti And Poutine, you're live and direct. Special guest is DJ Bailey. At Bailey Into Beats on everything.
That track is too fucking funky.
Not to hurt my neck bouncing around here. Smooth rollout, yeah. Roti And Poutine. My name is MC Armani Rain, the T.R.A.C. The Valiant. You are listening to Sugar from Bailey. Taking y'all back a little bit so y'all remember the thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That came out, what, 4 years ago, 5 years ago? Maybe?
Something like that, yeah. I'm terrible with dates, man.
I can't remember. I was hoping you would pull. Yeah, 19 seconds. Nah.
Oh yeah, that was. I can't remember.
Yeah, man.
I accidentally. I didn't mean to do it, but who cares? And actually, I'm gonna flip back to that real quick. Messing up the screens. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to make things move around. But anyway, I accidentally showed the promo for y'all this weekend, man.
Oh yeah,
it's all good. Now we can talk about that right now
all
as
right,
well.
I'll put it up on the screen then. Look at that.
Yeah. I'll try my best intro, ladies and gentlemen. As we bring to you Saturday night's Rama Shema Phi Slamabama. DJ Bailey hailing and everything. Bass Drive is doing an amazing show Saturday. I'll try my best about it.
Okay, now. You remember the thing we were saying about, playing last set on Miami and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
Now, like, here I am headlining for Bass Drive, which is a very important outlet, right? I'm kind of like, okay, well, what am I going to do to stand out? For this, I've actually made tunes to play on this. You know what I mean? I've actually made tunes to, tunes that ain't been heard before. And that's kind of what I'm getting more into lately. You see, with the whole... that Sugar track, it's a strange thing about me is I love the dark side. I love that. But when it comes to making music, I cannot make that as much as I really have a feel for making that stuff. You know what I mean? What I've been doing for a while now is making, I've on my radio show, I've made loads of music. I made lots and lots, but I don't tell anybody. I just put it in the show and that's it. You know what I mean? I feel like at the moment what's happening is in terms of like the liquid side of things, it's all gone very brandy-ish, like it's on brand.
Oh Lord, we could say that.
Piano-y.
Oh God.
You know what I mean? Like
it's very formulaic right now.
Exactly. So I got fed up with it. And again, like leading by example, rather than just saying this ain't good enough and moaning about it. I'm like, I might just make some myself, you know what I mean?
There you go.
If I haven't got a Dillinger kind of track, I'll make a Dillinger kind of track. No, but at the moment, I've got a whole, like, I can play a set full of tracks that I've made that are kind of originals. I've done some of Fats. I've got stuff that are bootlegs. I've taken stuff that doesn't have a beat on it. I've done some D'Angelo and Raphael Sadiq stuff. I've done some.
Oh shit! Wait, what do you're holding out?
Let the man vent. Let the man get it all out.
All right, let me get this. I've done all kinds of stuff.
I love you so much, and we haven't talked in a while, and I'm about to blow you up for the next 3 weeks. Like, yo, what's up?
I'm just feeling right now. The depth of soul in that stuff that's supposed to be liquid ain't deep enough for me. And I when I'm listening to drum and bass, I listen to a lot of neo soul kind of stuff. Something just broke.
Good?
Yeah, it's all right. It's only 2 GoPros. It's all right.
Oh Lord.
And I listen to that and lo-fi hip hop, blah blah blah. You know, like Jay Dilla stuff.
Yeah.
You know, imagine Jay Dilla, right? That's what inspired that track. Imagine like a Jay Dilla kind of groove, but you put a drum and bass beat on it. I'm really into that right now, and I've made loads of stuff that has that.
I will say, I gotta say, liquid wise, Will Miles makes liquid that is a lot like that, where it feels like Dilla might have made a drum and bass tune. You know what I mean?
Well,
so
off top for me, I'm gonna put Miles. I'm gonna put Mr. Joseph, and I'm gonna just give a big shout to. I'm also gonna give a big shout to because Intellect seems to be like the grade of where liquid should be or roll into. Not to say that that's the way, but what he was doing was phenomenal. No,
I've actually,
my man.
Actual soul
for sure. Yeah. And I don't know if this falls into that category, but I used to show a lot of people who never heard drum and bass before and wanted to hear something like really easy to listen to. Like Mutt used to make like Poplar
Squeeze.
Canadian.
Oh yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Poplar Squeeze was probably I play that right now, and it's like my household, whole house dances. Like, you know what I'm saying? And squeeze, like do 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 do, and squeeze. Like that tune is so fucking good.
Mr. I was gonna say Diligent Fingers. Is in the chat right now. I got to big him up a little bit because the liquid that he puts out is really, really quality. That EP he put out on Liquid Lab was nice because it was
nice. Yeah, I haven't
from the whole fucking liquid sauce that's out there right now. It was different. So, and definitely a big up to Mr. Joseph. Mr. Joseph and Illmatica are
Illmatica. Those guys are becoming a tandem. Man. That video they did was amazing, and just the whole soul and the effort that they're doing right now is. You know, shouts to V. Shouts to what Brian and the boys are doing right now.
Tell you what, Billy. Let me. We've got another one out here for you. We'll give you a minute to.
Let the man get himself together.
Yeah. Tell you what. So we've got another tune right here. This one's called Stargazing. For those who.
Whoa! Don't bring it in like that. Don't bring it in like that. Hold on.
I wasn't gonna bring it in like that. I'm trying to give the man some time. You know what?
All right.
That's fine. No, you good. You handle it now.
No, I ain't going.
No, this is way too late.
This is the track show.
Chatty. I just want to say. Everybody that knows this record, you don't know this record. What we have right now is a special VIP version of Stargazing. Tylee, Bailey go in, and it's a vibe. It's some other people that I can't remember. I'm gonna let Bailey go ahead. And, I talk sometimes, but it happens for me.
Yeah.
You mansplained Bailey. That's crazy.
Yeah, I did mansplain Bailey.
It's kind of a bit like I say, there's the Angels Floor, the VIP versions. Like that when people are making tracks, they have other versions of the track. And this Tylee tune, I had other versions after it, and because I wasn't like I didn't feel like it was finished, so I never bothered. How old was the tune? I mean, that was before Sugar, right? So there's this other version that I was like, oh, actually, that sounds all right, man. I need actually literally going to play it for the first time. This week on my radio show. So I mean, you're the first person I've given it to. No one even know that version exists. Brian doesn't even know, to be honest.
I wish I had an air horn. If I had an air horn.
Yeah. So basically there's a producer called D-Lo.
D-Lo, okay, thank you.
Yeah, D-Lo, who did a track which blended really well the vocal, and I asked him to do a version with Tylee's vocal on his track, and
wait, is this D-Lo from the States or D-Lo from?
Yes, D-Lo from the States.
Oh, wow!
Yeah. And I was like,
big up.
I don't know. Let me try this myself.
D-Lo.
So I took D-Lo's melody and I put it on the track, and it fits like it's just nice.
It's a glove, like a glove. It fits.
Yeah, like a glove. Yeah.
That's what's up. Stateside family, stand up. Whoa! I wanted to ask. I was like D-Lo. Wait, is this the same D-Lo? I don't know.
It's D-Lo. Yeah, it's D-Lo.
Yeah. Big up to those cats down in TX, man. Big up.
Yes, this was supposed to be played first on my radio show tomorrow, but I guess it's gonna be first here now.
First here, hearing it first, and we are privileged. You are all privileged.
Do you want me to wait?
No, go for him.
Go for it.
I've got to try and fix this camera though. It's on the floor.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We'll put it on and then
Right.
Put on a screen or some shit.
All right, cool.
Everything's fine. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Stargazing VIP remix by D-Lo.
Exclusive. Roti and Poutine.
We are silly tonight, and I don't care.
I can still hear you, psycho. Exclusive, Roti and Poutine, the DJ Bailey. This one's called Stargazing, featuring one and only Tali. Roti and Poutine every Thursday. Good to see you. Sheesh. Shout out everybody in the chat. I see you active. Pick up. Exclusive business right now. Roti and Poutine, DJ Bailey. Sheesh.
Stargazing, I see, got good dreams musically. I'm fulfilled, just thinking
Tali.
of what could be. It's so warm where I'm at, that I'm on the right track. Stop hoping and thinking of what could be. Stargazing, I see, got good dreams musically. I'm fulfilled, just thinking of what could be. It's so warm where I'm at, that I'm on the right track. Stop hoping and thinking of what could be. Stargazing, I don't look for the sky.
Sorry, chat. We don't do rewinds. We don't do rewinds. Light it up, light it up, light it up. Big up all Bob Ross crew in the place. I see y'all. Thank you for the Bobby Ross.
Stargazing, I see, got good dreams musically. I'm fulfilled, just thinking of what could be.
Shouts to Go to Child doing the Brian G dance right now.
That I'm on the right track. Stop hoping and thinking of what could be. Stargazing, I don't look for the sky. All around me shine opportunities. Stargazing, I don't look for the sky. All around me shine opportunities.
Command setup. Roti and Poutine, live in that record. This is exclusive work, man. We hit y'all every single week with something special. Thank you, DJ Bailey. We are here.
This tune, goddamn. Goddamn.
Shout out to everybody who came through. East Coast, West Coast, Canada, UK, I see you. Barbados, New York.
Oh, bagel.
All my people in the chat. Lady makes some music. I see you. I'm good with two, though. Exclusive business. Bap. Sheesh. Shout out, Mr. Bailey dropping the science on us, bro. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
I got a really big up D-Lo for that. Really, he brought the
Yo,
song.
shouts to D-Lo. Holy
Big.
smokes.
Yeah,
Big in him.
He lit a fire under that track. Like, I mean, to be honest, is as good as the original. Of course, I was a huge fan of the original, two-stepping all over the place, but this was like an absolute surprise to me. So much so. Also, I want to thank you for believing in some stateside warriors out here trying to get involved and getting into the circle of things. And records like these make me proud. And honestly, so big salute, big salute, big. This is a really dope record overall.
Absolutely.
Absolute.
I mean, really and truthfully, I'm just really from someone who's seen it from the beginning. I'm really just proud of the expansion of this music. You got to bear in mind, the drum. It's not just drum and bass that came out of the UK. So you've got garage, you've got the whole UKG thing, you've got dubstep, you've got grime, and I mean, what's been here the longest? You know what I mean? It's us, all of us together. You know what I mean? I'm really just proud of everybody. It doesn't matter if you're not making tunes, if you just go to the events and stuff, you know what I mean? Anyone that's part of this is a very important part of this. And I'm really proud that look at us years later. It's been like almost 30 years, drum and bass still going, you know what I mean? It's like, that really says a lot about the music. And I've seen all parts of the world I never thought I'd even go to because of it. People have been going Kuala Lumpur and Hawaii, and I went to blooming, was it Costa Rica and stuff? It's crazy, man. It's just amazing.
I've seen
it's worldwide. It's in the right countries. If you ask me, I want to go somewhere where people want to dance. At the end of the day, and if people are dancing around the world, that's just fine with me. If you don't mind me saying, it's always been this thing of like for Americans for the most part to want to come to London to feel what it's like in the Mecca, and there is still nothing like going to London and rocking out and just blasting off overall, you know what I mean? So I think this right here, the spirit that travels along is being picked up, and we have these pockets that happen as well. But we all do it with the solidarity of what it was like in London, obviously. So big salute to all my London heads. See, State's got love for you.
It's funny.
Don't think we out here hating, you know what I mean?
it's funny. Shout out DJ Craze who just hopped in the chat. He was here last.
Craze up in here. It's trash.
Craze. I got some craze stories too in Miami.
Oh, yeah, don't we all?
Oh, you need to drop them.
Craze stories too. Yeah. I know he remembers a guy called Bear. Remember Bear from UDG? Oh, yeah. What a crazy night, man. Anyway.
Yeah, man. But it's funny that he hopped in because I was literally just about to echo the sentiments you said not 2 minutes ago. It's like I've seen half the world specifically because of drum and bass. Like my passports are full because of this music and
because of drum and bass.
It's why we even not to bring it up because I'm not going to dwell on it, but it's why we took the political issues so seriously. It's like we were such a united culture and underground of acceptance and unity, and to watch that transpire no matter what country I was in was a very, very special thing that I will never let go of. So.
Yeah,
I don't know where I was going with that outside of saying that people are beautiful. I was just trying to say something beautiful, It's just like it's a really good thing, man.
And I was going to piggyback off a little bit what T was saying. You were one of the UK heads that was coming over a lot, and especially like along the East Coast, DC and stuff like that. Back in the day in Toronto, and so that meant a lot because not to shade anyone else in the UK, but you were sort of considered by a lot of people over here to be sort of like a higher level.
I was like, I'm so interested on where this is going.
Okay,
so
I didn't know this.
So it was, it meant a lot when you were coming over here. I'm not, like I said, I don't want to shade anybody else, but when you were coming over, it meant a lot for the American drum and bass heads who really educated themselves about the music, more so than say maybe somebody else who might be a flashier name. That meant a lot, especially like in places where like up and down the East Coast, especially places like DC and that whole corridor.
Seeing my first time rocking with Bailey was in DC, actually.
Yeah,
those are the first guys. Actually, that's my first time in America was Washington. Too Tough.
Wow.
Too Tough.
Those guys.
Shout out to my boy Peter.
Yeah, Slant, and absolutely.
Yeah.
Shout
Andrew.
Out to Slant.
Yes, Andrew
definitely.
as well. Those cats was lovely, man. Yeah.
But
the whole crew. I'm forgetting people, but yeah, and you know, I saw you at Buzz back in the day, and it was like that was a very magical time for me. So, and
thank you, man.
I got you on a bunch of those flyers back there, man.
You got a bunch of those flyers over there? You got a bunch of them flyers over there hanging on the wall?
Hanging on the wall.
That's what it is.
With your names on them.
With your names on.
I think, you know, going back to DJs who would come over and play anthems, like, you know, I wouldn't compromise. I think that's kind of not the job. I felt that my thing was to come over and say, here's what's coming next. I was quite good at spotting like clusters of music that were coming next, and I'd be bringing it on dubplate to US to be like, this is what's next. This is what I'll be playing without announcing it. You know what I mean? There's no point in coming over and playing anthems and all that sort of stuff. You can throw one in to keep the crowd warm, you know what I mean? But like, you've got to sort of like, drum bass has always been about going forward, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you know, you do look back a little piece, but you know, because I had access to these tunes so early, I felt like my job was to go, well, this is kind of what's coming next, you know what I mean? Like, listen to this batch of stuff. This shit's crazy. So yeah, that's what I enjoyed doing.
Yeah, it got real weird for a couple of years. It's like everyone that came over only played anthems. It was like Miami was like worst. It was like you just go, and it was like every party was the same for 3 hours. And it was like,
I think everybody needs to learn how important it is to just be completely different. Like I remember playing at Renegade Hardware back in the late 90s, and everybody had like, you know, because it was a big night right at the end, everybody was cutting these dub plates, getting exclusives, blah blah blah, and again my brain just went, what am I going to do, you know what I mean? So someone had played before me like the hardest set, right? I came in with a real, like a punchy bass line, but it was liquid, you know what I mean? It just reset everything and then build it up again, and that's when I played Thunder and just murdered the
dude.
Yo, that's when I had Sound in Motion on White Label. I think it was like 99 or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, you can attest to it because we've had numerous conversations. Like, I love that. I think that's the best part of being I'm not a DJ, but being a part of that experience. Craze, we did it. Any DJ we're with, and real DJs who were just like, all right, like, should we play differently because the person before us? I'm like, no. It's like, we're here. Reset. Start over. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, go completely opposite of what was in front of us because you're good enough to bring them back to your personal journey. It doesn't matter. You get a lot of DJs who like, oh man, they're playing so hard, I gotta change my whole set. And I'm like, man, fuck that. Like, you know what I mean? We came here to do what we came here to do. So let's just do that.
Big shout to Burner Brothers.
Oh yeah, Al Cena in the building.
Oh, that's Al. I thought it was Al. How you doing, Al?
Yeah. Al Cena out here working
Al for
hard.
a long time.
Hey man, when's that album coming out? If you put it in the chat, if you have a date, if you don't have a date, I know we've been talking about it, and you probably don't.
That man don't want to give up dates right now. He's trying to get everything 100%. I know he do.
They're close.
I dare you to put a date in there, Al. I dare you to put a date in there. How about that?
How about a guesstimation?
Yeah.
Also, big shout to Dave Bass Windu, like the infamous.
The infamous.
From DC.
Yo, and
Dave Pureug's in there. It's good to see a lot of these people in here, man.
Dave Pureug's, wow.
Yeah.
Cruz
Golden Child as usual.
Yeah, Golden Child up in here.
Crazy, I'm not faded. I'm just, you know what I mean? It's been a long day, bro.
Okay.
It's been a long day. Dilly's in here, Vegas in here. Yeah, man.
Craze, we need to reconnect because, it's been a long time since. You know, Craze is open-minded. He's the first guy to he put a track of mine that I wasn't even too sure about. He put it on a compilation. It was actually engineered by Breakage, and the tune was called Crazy. Oof. And he put that on a compilation. And I was like, really? Someone wants to use that? Okay, fine. And he went for it, and I just really respected that because it wasn't even coming out. I'd sent it to him, so I'd love to send you more stuff, Crazy. So we're gonna link up again soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Crazy's hot right now with the. He's doing a bunch of stuff right now. That's I believe behind the scenes. So yeah, we had him here last week. It took him 2 hours to recognize the homie, but it was all good. It is all good. We gonna talk about it. Nah, I'm playing.
Oh wait, you're the MC.
Oh, that's you.
Oh no, that's what I get for laying low all the goddamn time.
Part of that entire goddamn show.
So, what parts of the country are you all in right now? Where are you?
I am in Atlanta. Track is in New York, and MC Booby is in Canada. You're not gonna let it go, dude. It's your fault.
It's Bubby.
Oh,
Bubby.
I like that you're upset that
Anyway,
I
yes.
mispronounced.
Hey, it's my wife's pet name for me. I want to make sure it's accurate. I'm about 2 hours away from Toronto. Toronto's sort of my home base. Yeah.
Could live there. I love Toronto.
Toronto's amazing.
No, so do I.
Canada generally. People are
just too fucking expensive these days. So living in Toronto now is it's a rich man's game.
Yeah, Toronto's changed a lot.
So because I haven't. It's been a little while since I've been at those sides. I mean, is it still as vibrant as it was before?
As far as where?
Anywhere, or just around America and Canada's like two definitely strong places for drum and bass. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Canada's strong still. LA's really strong.
Denver's
really
tops.
strong.
Denver's on point. ATL is like
Atlanta's.
It's like finding new oil in ATL actually right now. You know what I mean?
We're gonna bring you through when everything comes back through. We've actually started a campaign called "Pouring the Gas" on it, and we've been as a community. It's not a me thing. It's not an MJ thing. It's literally all the community access parties, Elevate Crew, Torch DMB. People have been putting in. You know, what I mean, Torch has been throwing free parties since way before I got here, and every single month. So we've all basically been trying to get together to make sure that we can pour gas on this scene as a family together, because we feel that's the only way this is going to grow. So we all support each other's parties, big, small, sharing venues, yada yada yada, for the better, the good. You know. So
yeah, the other things as well is like obviously I'm always on the lookout for like newer names that are coming through, and even the people in the chat, it might even be able to let me know who are new names coming up, or people that I need to know about from stateside that, or
Winslow.
Canada.
Check for Winslow. Check for
Winslow.
Winslow. Check for Cyber Posix. He actually makes a lot of good lo-fi.
I'm writing this down.
Yeah.
Check for Echo Brown.
Everybody in the chat, put your names up. Kamarion,
who do I need to?
Kamarion, Cyber Posix, Will Miles already. Winslow.
Echo Brown, Echo B.
Okay.
Who else is out there killing it? Young heads. I mean, you got D-Lo already on the list, so
yeah.
Justin Hawks.
Justin Hawks is AKA Flight, formerly Flight,
Okay.
The Burner Brothers, obviously.
Burner Brothers, new joint, but he don't need to write their names on the list.
Nobody really.
Yeah, they don't know.
He's fucking what you seen. We're fucking what you seen. I'm a rat. Craze out. Craze is coming out with some tunes, so you need to hit him up.
Oh, Craze! I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Craze is dropping.
I'm ratting him out. He's gonna be
New York heads, DJ Passive and DJ IQ have been they've been on some stuff lately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, IQ sends me stuff. Thanks.
All right. Well, you don't need.
Esoteric.
Yeah. Okay. I'm getting all this down, man. I'm gonna do some.
I know. We're doing it live. We're doing it live.
Yeah. Echo. Yeah. I said Echo Brown.
I'm not new, but me.
Valiant. No, you know what I mean.
You're the MC Valiant.
Oh, there we go.
I thought I recognized you.
Okay. Wait, what time did they have you set up for on the Bass Drive Radio?
Yeah, let's talk about. We kind of started.
Oh yeah. How's that going to work? Because are there any? I saw there's MCs, but are MCs going to be rolling with Bailey and Clute as well, or what's happening?
I don't know. Actually. But Devious is Devious still in the chat there? Maybe he can.
He might be listening, but no, I can pretty much just tell you that there will be some connecting, but it won't be all live. It's just that MCs will be with the DJs when it's time to roll, for the most part. So, I don't want to spoil all the secrets, of course, because I want to keep the magic in the sky. But there's a lot of...
So let's go over this one more time. Saturday, September 12th, starting at 11 a.m.
Right.
Which is
5 p.m. UK time.
Okay.
5 p.m. UK
5
time.
UK time, which is what for us? Like...
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. There we go.
12
o'clock in the morning.
12.
Well, we start at 11, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they start at 11 a.m. It'll be live in studio from 5 different locations. You've got Bailey, Clute, Invader, Sweet Pea, Donovan, Promozo, Space Funk, YG. Yeah, YG. So, what did I say?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I don't know what you said. I don't know what you said either. It said it.
Too Shy MC, the track will be there. Sophie Mari, Ilmatica. And it's all going to be on Bass Drive.
Yeah, we want y'all to catch that. Yeah, 11. Yeah, it starts at 11 a.m., man. So we want y'all to catch it. I'll be on the early side. I'll be through the whole night, actually. But it's just going to be a popular night. I'm probably going to say hi to Bailey at some point. So be there to catch me to say hi to Bailey.
I'm going to tune in specifically just for that.
Yeah. I'm going to be probably doing a few tunes live as well. If you want to know if the voice still works, we will find out. Who knows? I might sound like Tika Mouse by the time I'm on, but I will be there doing a few tunes live as well. And it's just going to be fun. It's something that we dedicate to you guys, for everybody that's, stayed in during the pandemic, of course, and to Sun and Bass, of course, which is what everybody misses. So I think this is a special moment in time. Shouts to Devious again. Donovan, you the man, yo.
Yeah,
so
we love you, man, too.
Super big shout out to you, good sir, for hanging out with us tonight, for taking time out, for staying up. It's a big deal.
For real.
It's like
that's a commitment.
It's like 10 to 5 in the morning here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let you go.
Really?
No, I mean, you can say it if you want. All right, we do have one. Okay, so we do have a tune to play from track. You know what? Before we get into track,
yeah.
Let's do one more like hurrah to Bailey. Because people ask me this all the time, and I never ask these questions because it's a very interviewee question. But I feel like because I know you, I might get a different answer out of you. What is what is the wildest party story you're allowed to tell on here? Oh, you thought I was going to ask you something like official? No, you know me better.
Where did you get your name, Bailey?
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Well, there's no in between, basically. There's things I just can't talk about those things. Do you remember when I got arrested in Miami? Jesus. Do you remember that? I went to jail in Miami.
No.
Oh my God, man, that was crazy.
For what?
I don't even know. Should I be talking about this?
Are you allowed to talk about that? Why?
Is it over? It's not a continuing situation.
Are you allowed to go back to Miami?
It's over. What? Yeah, I mean, that was. I don't know about it, in terms of it being a wild party, but that was just kind of like, wow, I ended up in jail in Miami. Jesus.
That's a milestone.
WMC, you know what I mean?
When it was
I was basically coming to the defense of Randall, who's being picked on. And you're downtown in Miami, and it's different vibes down there. Right. And there's this new club that hadn't experienced drum and bass before, so people were smoking stuff. You know what I mean? And the bouncers weren't happy about it. This is a new club.
Wait. What club was that?
Andy Collins.
Diesel?
Was I there for that? I think I was there for that.
It was a long time ago. It was a Metalheads night, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. Finish the story. I'm sorry.
So somebody, I'm not going to say who, but they were smoking, and I don't smoke, but I just saw these bouncers being really on this guy's case, and I basically, God, bear in mind, one thing you got to remember in this story is that the drink measures in America are way stronger than in England, right?
Which is funny because we're like, these shits is weak.
We actually think it's we be complaining like a mofo about our joints, boy.
Really? My God, that's why people get so mashed up when they go elsewhere from the UK, because it's like the measures are completely different, right? So anyway, I'm in there with Storm and stuff, and we're at the bar drinking. It turns out, I didn't even realize, but I had the equivalent of like 12 tequilas, something like that, right? So I'm seeing all this bullying go on. The night ends, just cut a long story short, the night ends and I go outside and this DJ's on the floor like this. And I just lose my shit. I'm on tequila. I said, what? You started talking? I actually threw my headphones on the floor, and then some officer came out of nowhere and was like, you know those telescopic baton things that it just came out like this?
Oh, yeah.
And he just waved it in my face like, get off the street, son, like this. And I just was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like this, right? Goldie obviously knew that you don't play with these people. So
don't ask that question in the States.
He used to live in Miami. He knows the police over there. He knows how they are. He doesn't know them personally. And he just said, no, it's all right, officer. He's come with me, put his arm around me, walking off. And as we're walking off, this big hand, bam, like this, pulled me like this. And I just heard everyone go, no. And then they just chucked me and this guy in the back of the police car.
Oh, shit.
And that was us for 9 hours. But I was lucky because, obviously if you go in at the weekend, you don't get out until Monday, right?
That's right.
No, sir.
I was out the following day, luckily. I think, apparently I'd embarrassed a rookie cop and he just wanted to teach me a lesson. I've still got the
There's
paperwork.
a lot of that going around. It's funny. While you tell that story, I was literally trying to go through everything in my brain, and I was like, for as long as I've known you, I've never seen you mad. Like, ever.
It takes a lot.
I've never seen you out of pocket. Not one time.
Yeah,
and we've been in some shit.
Oh God, I've seen. Yeah, it takes a hell of a lot. I'm calm for the most part. If there's, especially in sort of times of crisis or my brain kicks into another gear and I really focus on what needs to be done rather than just going mad. Right. Unless I'm tired. There's been times when I've been tired and I've sort of like poor London cab drivers. I've started arguments for no reason. You know what I mean? I just want to get home. What the fuck? They want to charge me some ridiculous money, and I just lose my mind over nothing. But I'm not into all that testosterone bullshit. But
was that the same year that TC and Navigator got into the swing too as well?
Oh, I don't know.
Ask MJ.
Yeah. MJ is out here.
I didn't even know about that.
We laugh about that shit all the time. That was such an interesting.
That was an amazing time. I didn't go that year, but that was amazing.
Yeah, I was there, for sure.
Wow.
I saw TC out on a sidewalk with like 700 people. What's...
I didn't know about this.
It was weird to walk through that crowd.
Yeah, I think there was a riot.
Yo, Monty, man, what's good, son? Yo, I'm like, T,
it's me. What's good about here?
Like, it's 4 a.m, my G. Like, tone it down. It's just like, I don't have time for this right now.
Jesus.
And then they got into a fight, like, whatever, later, and they both got arrested. But anyway.
MJ says that they were beefing over Lady MC.
I don't
See, you talking too much. All that, you ain't even supposed to read all that out loud.
This story's over.
Hey, it's in the chat. People are going to see this anyway. Whatever. I'm reading this out for people who are visually impaired and they want to enjoy the full experience of the chat.
What happens in the chat stays in the chat.
What happened in the chat? These guys out here telling it all. Whatever happens, happens. Jesus.
Ain't no church in a while. Anyway, we've got just one last tune to play. We are winding down, actually, believe it or not. So I'll make sure we're going to play this tune. The reason we're playing this tune, though, we actually played it last week. It's a fucking fire tune. And it actually didn't come out like Track said it was supposed to. It's completely his fault, and you should definitely hit him up on all his social medias and complain.
Don't blame the offices. Don't blame me. Blame the offices.
It's completely Track's fault. We talked beforehand. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna lie and say some other shit happened." I was like, "Nah." I'm making all this up, by the way. Anyway. Tune's fucking sick. For those who haven't heard it, for all the new people in the chat, and Bailey, if you're gonna stick around and hang out with us for
yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
This is the officially came out yesterday. Well, no, it's not even 12 just yet, but it came out yesterday. Paul T and Eddie Oberon, Bad Bonus. One more time because last week y'all liked it so much we decided to play it again.
That's totally the reason.
Enjoy.
All right, I'm gonna go for some of this.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite background.
Yeah. This is the Bad Bonus. This is the Bad Bonus. Yeah. Now,
Exclusive.
this is the high stage main event. Live games play to win. High stakes main intent to fly when we embrace the wind. Time fly, races spin around the track of a wind. Sailing to escape the grin. Inhaling the vapor and releasing when the steam is made. With dreams to the peak of vape. Fumes and killer embers mean a championic. High life for high planes. It's everything it seems to be. So when the track is strong,
Thanks for the subscription, bro.
Rolling like a Harley Davidson on sunny days. Bright light, casino lights when his money's made. Hitting like heavy rights when it ready rocks. Heavy as a baseline out the hooper box.
At the hookah spot, you know what I mean?
Baseline out the hooper box. This is the Bad Bonus. Bad Bonus.
Live and direct, Roti And Poutine. You're listening to Bad Bonus by the MC Track.
Yeah. Devastated to all my points is exclamated. Celebrated when dedicated to renegated. Elevated from bottom basis is plain basics. Work my ways till I make it because I'm dedicated. Taking the breath and then let off all that is left of me. With no vocal projected because I go they can't believe. See I'm bad to the bone when it really rocks heavy as a bass line out the hooper box. Rolling like a Harley Davidson on sunny days. Bright like casino lights when his money's made. Hitting like heavy rights when it really
Out now on V Recorders and all DJ spots.
heavy as a
You can
bass
spin
line
it
out the
again
hooper
just for your
box.
ears. Let's get it in.
Live and direct, Roti and Poutine. The MC Armani Rain, the track MC, the Valiant MC, special guest, the DJ Bailey, at Bailey Into Beats on everything. Go to his Twitch channel too. Check out his mix crowd.
Bad bonus.
This one's called Bad Bonus.
Bad.
It's actually out now.
Like the shades, Bailey.
Bad bonus.
Deal with it.
Bonus. Yeah.
Oh, I like the Zorro. Nothing sex survives. Like, hey, you wearing a mask. How responsible?
Responsibility.
Sheesh. That was called Bad Bonus. The MC track.
Yo,
Bad bonus.
And it's out now. Correct?
it's out now. It's out now.
Is it
I
actually
think some
out?
of y'all knew already because I was getting a couple of DMs about, yo, I thought you said it was coming out. I found out it was coming out till next week. What kind of shit you on track? And I was like, yo, I didn't know. And I'm glad all things are sort of rectified now and everything's running. So
Once again,
thank you for your support. That's it.
For those who didn't hear, shout out Winslow for hopping in the chat. Appreciate the follow as well.
Shouts to Winslow.
Yeah, we were just bigging you up, bro.
Yeah, man, we was giving you all the propers, man. You might get checked out by some of these elite DJs, bro.
Winslow did a wicked remix for me. I'm waiting to play it. I'm not going to play it just yet, but I played it on the radio
Who's being
this
a dick
Sunday
now?
night. Yeah. Played on the radio this Sunday, so people can.
It's fine.
listen
Bailey
to
gave
it.
us an exclusive tune that he was going to wait till tomorrow. But you do, you know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
I appreciate your dedication to the show, Valiant.
Yeah, you can have another one if you want to. Yeah.
It's- Hey, D13, appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the follow.
Hey, let's just
DJ
take it to the chats and just say if you guys got any questions, one last question before we close out, ask it now.
This is
I'm not asking Bailey
How
why
dare.
did you have the name Bailey. I just want to say that right quick. I'm not asking Bailey that. I'm just not. I just can't.
Where'd you get your DJ name?
My name's Michael Bailey.
I was going to say, how do you, does no one know that? I thought we were joking. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
That's his name.
that's his name. Absolutely.
Yo, how'd you come up with how'd you get your name?
My mum gave me the name.
So sick.
Wow. Let's
All
get
right,
it.
nobody's got any questions. We're going to move
Oh, I
on.
got my name. That's good.
Nobody
Cool.
got no questions.
All right, what's
No
your favorite
questions.
track ever? There it is. You got the one question. Each
Favorite
Oh,
track ever?
Favorite track
Ever.
Fuck.
Forever. Like, this is the
This is
one.
the most impossible
I want-
question to
I'm-
answer.
And I'm going to put it on Twitter and tell everyone else they suck. So be prepared.
Well, I mean, if you're going to talk about jungle, it's going to be
Ooh, I like how you break it down.
Babylon by Splash.
Ooh.
Really?
That tune is
Choice.
bananas, man.
Ooh.
All right. Huh.
That tune's got everything that I like about it. I in those days, I typically liked those smooth melodies and then bang, smashed over the head with something, and that did everything on the reggae tip. All the sound effects, it had everything I needed at that time. Babylon, crazy tune. I also liked a tune from 91, 92 by a guy called Joe. The track was called Anything. You know, in those times, it was all really hardcore, breakbeaty, mad, crazy sounds, weird stuff in those days. But that was the cleanest and darkest track. That was actually the track that stopped me from listening to hip hop and just going full time.
Okay.
That I was like, whoa.
What's it called again?
It's by a guy called Gerald. It's called Anything.
Anything.
Write that
Sick
down.
shit. So simple. Such a simple tune.
Favorite MC highlights along any of your sets?
We already asked the question.
That you would kind of, we did.
I'm not fucking with you. Don't give them too much power.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, if we're asking Bailey what his favorite track is, what about you guys?
I don't have a favorite track right now.
I don't have a favorite track either, but I will say, you mentioned the thing that like really sparked what got you out of hip hop. I'm not going to say this got me out of hip hop, but what was it? Enter the Mask? That was the name of the tune? Makai?
Into the Mask?
The old Ghost in the Shell remix thing? Oh, I got 100 down now. You guys killed the dead air.
All right, track. If you found out that you're being shipped off to the moon in like 15 minutes, what one track would you take with you right now? Doesn't have to be
off to the moon.
Yep, and you can only take one track with you.
That's not even fair.
One tune. I know it's not fair. That's why I'm asking.
It's gotta be
that's why
like,
I'm asking you.
It's probably a Dilla tune. It's probably a Dilla tune.
No. I'm talking about drum and bass.
Oh, drum. Oh, come on! I was trying to get out.
No, hold on. I'll let you
Beneath the Mask
separately.
Now I got 100 down.
You know what? For now, what's running through my head right now, because I did play it a million times, is the record by Atmos and Nicole on V Recordings, which is I just want to give you all my love.
Oh yeah.
I'll travel with love in my pocket. Long shot.
I got a 9 in my pocket.
Yeah. I mean, if it's gonna be like ever, I can't really go for a particular track, but
yeah, same.
Like
it's hard.
Marvin Gaye it's gonna be something by Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, see,
Marvin Gaye, like, yeah, it's deep. I miss all that.
Maybe Inner City Blues.
Yeah,
Inner City Blues might be mine, or I gotta say, man, James Brown was always my go-to, like for everything, always. But shit, I don't know what track I'd pick from him.
I'm gonna play this tune. You ready?
What tune are you playing?
The Beneath the Mask.
Oh,
all right.
Play it.
I found it. I've seen it. As soon as it allows me.
You synced it? You synced this one time? I synced it this one time.
Let me hear this thing.
Super old. If YouTube will play it, that'd be great.
Well, you don't want to play the ad?
It's not even the ad. It's the fact that we're streaming 7 different things and my computer's like, hey, yo, cuz.
Yo,
what you
my
doing,
dogs.
bro?
Yo, dogs. You know you doing it.
Fam. There's a lot going on, cuz. Oh, man. Anyway, yeah, this is one of the tunes. Let's see. How old is this bad boy?
Does it have a list on there? It might have a posting date.
This thing is not loading. That's the funniest part about the whole situation.
Armani's guest unknown tune. Here we go. All right, good. Here we go.
My homie used to play this at the rave like every time. This is like before I even knew what anything was. Not before I knew anything, but like stand out.
The drums are crunchy, man.
Oh, super grimy. I love that like intros were like super long. Like the tune's 7.5 minutes long. I'm obviously not gonna play the whole thing.
This reeks of early days, dusty ass basement.
Super rave warehouse. Like Armani Rain rapping on top of a speaker with his shirt on, so we don't talk about it.
Right. Sweaty walls. You can barely breathe, but everybody's having fun.
Lieutenant Reed said classic. That's
He lied. He lied. He gotta be lying. He lied.
Imagine rapping too, like I would ever see you a snip, like wide open beat.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. Shit was the hot.
Oh, I remember this.
I know this record.
I used to love this fucking tune. Yeah, I remember this now.
This was played everywhere in the station. This one all over the place.
Yeah, I used to love that too.
Beneath the mask, dude. That tune used to-
Lieutenant Reed saying Armin still rocks this.
Yeah, he does. It's like a
Yeah.
Philly staple, man. Shout out Bishop, actually, back when he used to DJ. Like, there was some of the first cats that took me out, Ill Skills, and like just introduced me to this crazy sound. And every time they would just show me different styles, whether it was the liquid, whether it was steppy, it was whatever. That's why I've always, you know me, I've never, you don't see me with a specific DJ forever. I love all of it so much, and it was because I came from hip hop. It was also new and crazy. And when I heard that shit, and it was just like how crunchy that those drums were, and then it just came in with this beautiful Ghost in the Cell thing over. You were just like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know what I mean? It's just, you didn't hear that in hip hop. You hip, as raw as hip hop was, and as elemental as hip hop is, you still didn't get. There was that raw rock and roll vibe that you can't get anywhere else from rock and roll. That was in drum and bass. It was just like, I'm gonna take something really dark and crazy and make it beautiful as fuck at the same time. And it was just like that chemistry to me has always been next level shit, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I liked about Babylon. It was like something really gorgeous about it, and then just blended with like a bit of darkness, you know, something a bit heavier. I love all that, man.
Yeah,
Rough with the smooth. Yes, yeah. Rough with the smooth. Someone said in the chat room there. So yeah, man, absolutely the way I like it.
Yeah,
That was a moment. That was a moment in time. Yeah, that was a moment in time, man. I remember that record. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That was crazy. All right, man. That was my blast of the past. All right, that was great.
Yeah, we got to do a Blast of the Past series one day.
Yeah,
now.
we have
got
to
it
do
all
that.
up at the end.
We have to do that.
I don't know, I think if I had to choose one tune to go to the moon, yeah, it might be either F Jam or True Romance, one of the two.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, True Romance. There's something about that tune.
It's a huge.
Man, I don't know especially when that bass comes in. It's so warm, yet I don't. Man, it's hard to describe. And F Jam. Every time I hear F Jam, I just I'm like taken back.
Perry, appreciate the follow.
All right,
But
fellas.
yeah, cool. That was it, man. We did a show. We had a show.
Indeed.
We did
So
a
we
show
had
with the-
extra roti and poutine today, bro. Extra
Yeah.
roti with a side of poutine. That's what happened here, man.
Yeah, roti is definitely my bucket list. But
Fish
hey, man,
cake and pine tart and pepper pots and
Go
dry
on.
food. Don't get me
Oh.
started.
that jar of ginger beer that grandma left on the back porch.
Ginger, Mobby, and all that madness. Don't get me
Oh
started.
gosh.
Bro, people were like, "Oh man, why'd you stop eating spicy food?" Like, dog, I grew up on when you drink soda that's spicy. After a while, you're like, "All right, like relax."
Doubles, don't get me started. All right, I'm done. Doubles is not really Guyanese, but I like doubles. I won't leave it at that.
Yeah, that's not Guyanese.
Yeah.
It's still good. You're right though.
Yeah, this is
Bailey.
what.
Bailey looks like he's about to fall over.
Thank you. No.
No, I'm just like you mentioning all these names of these foods. I'm just thinking sour sap. I'm thinking
It's
about.
I can see your brain spinning right now.
Yeah, I'm just like Polari.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Blurry,
I'm having
Cassava
cigarettes.
balls.
cassava bowl. Don't get started, boy.
All kinds of stuff, man. Yeah.
How exciting!
Yeah, it's
You know what's
crazy.
really dope? That like it's the end of the night and I'm not gonna be able to eat any of those things.
Well,
You
good morning.
Yeah,
I think I'm just breakfast time.
brother. I can't thank you enough for coming and hanging out with us, chatting up, catching
Absolutely.
up. You are an absolute legend, but more importantly, just a really good friend. And we thank you so much for coming on.
Hey man, it's
I
been
appreciate
so
you
great to catch
remembering
up.
our names. Like that's really important.
Crazy listening.
Yeah, is it still there? Okay. Mhm.
Nah, but anything you want to leave the people with, man, before you go?
You know what?
We all go.
Considering that we've got so deep on this stuff, I'd love to come back. You know, when you've got everybody, you've been for other people and stuff. I'd love to come back and and play a lot of these dub plates that have never come out and tell you why and show you what they are, because there's just a million versions of. Well, there's just a lot of versions of stuff that never came out. Like I say, the Angels Fell, and you've got Lemon D. This is LA. There's a version of.
This is Los Angeles, man. Oh, I love that.
I'm
tune.
gonna
Damn.
go ahead and make the executive decision. Anytime you want to come back and do that, dude, we'll make the whole.
We'll have a listening party.
Yeah.
Right. No, and I mean that. Not in a like, oh my God, Bailey's going to come show us exclusive things. I think that would be important to the culture to come on and hear those things and have you talk about them.
Yeah.
And we have a session like that. Like that.
I really enjoy that stuff. I mean, when I did the virus recordings, the stream they did, the first hour was me telling the story about their past and stuff. There was a few dub plates in there, and there were stories about why tunes never came out, disputes and all this kind of stuff. And it's like it's always been really interesting for me, really interesting. So I'd love to share some of these stories with everybody.
I'm sure they would love to hear them as well, because
Let's tell you what, if the chat wants to see it, we will set a date soon and we'll see when you're free. And I would love to, we have these chats, and the chat's probably tired of me explaining this. For the new people, hey, how are you?
Welcome in, new folks.
We've been doing these podcasts during the pandemic for one of two reasons. One, even though sometimes we have gotten a little political, we've appreciated to find an escape. And not only just an escape, but an escape with people that we've all grown up and watched over the years, and just have a normal conversation, as opposed to like, you come in here and we do the how'd you get your name thing, and if you were a tree, what tree would you be? Like, just to see the other side, just to see the other side of these people that we followed and not to say idolized, but you are who you are. And like when we had Goldie or Frost or Craze or John B was great, and we just sit down and have a normal conversation. So to have another show where we can come on and do more of a music showcase, I would be honored to do that. And if you're willing to do that, we can set that up immediately. Like I said, if the chat's cool with it.
Yeah,
no, they're not going to be cool with it.
I think people have got to know that I'm a serious collector. I think I actually put a rant on my Facebook the other day of like, I'm getting tired of people asking me for dub plates. They know I collect this stuff, right?
Right.
And it's not a matter of like asking for it. It's a matter of people who I don't have that connection with, asking for, stuff. I don't even know you like that. Don't even ask. You know what I mean? So I'm big time. Just the other day, I think I got 5 unreleased Dillinger stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, my Dillinger pile is the Caliber stuff. The optical stuff. I mean, me and Optical at the moment are sort of like. I mean, I cut so many optical stuff, and he's lost a lot of the music. I'm giving him stuff, and he's giving me stuff, and there's all this stuff that never came out. I mean, bear in mind, the very first Virus Vaults, I gave Optical a lot of his own music to put on there. So I've got that much of his stuff, you know what I mean? And I preserve all this stuff. hence the Metalheads tapes and stuff like that I've got. I've got archives of loads of stuff, and I've got loads of stories. So I'd love to come and share all that stuff.
I would love for you to do that. Let's do that.
That might have to be like a holiday special. I mean, I don't want to give. That sounds really like a moment in time right there to have.
When you're available, I'll do it as soon as we have somebody set up next week, obviously. So we got a couple things going on, but we can be around.
Let's go around honestly, on the lap a little bit.
Yeah, and it's just, I've reached out. It's funny, and I'm going to say this because I don't give a shit. I've reached out to other people with the same idea to no avail. So, like, if you know what I mean? If you're willing to do it, I would love to.
Oh, yeah.
We just sat and talked to you for a while. So
it just isn't enough time in the world. I mean, what I might try and do is hook up my Serato to this computer, share the screen, and people can just say, I'll show you the list of the unreleased dubs, and you can just say, what's that one? And I'll just play them, you know what I mean? What's this? I've got a version of Circles, an original version of Circles from 1995.
Lord.
The longest, most epic intro. I've got all kinds of mad dub.
I have argued in the past that might be the greatest drum bass tune ever made. It might be. It's in the discussion. It's in the discussion.
It's on the list for sure. There's no doubt about
if you hear the intro on this, you're just like, wow, the build-up's massive, absolutely massive. So, we can do that. Yeah, I'll just get my MP3s out, put them in a folder, and I'll be like, I'll share the screen in Serato, and I'll be like, hey, what should we play? And I'll just play whatever, you know what I mean?
And slam it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do it. We're going to set a date. We did it. It's on record. And if you say no, I'll pull this up and show it to you. Yeah, man, that's sick. Super dope. Hey, thank you everybody who swang through in the chat today. Throw your fire emojis up for
fire Mr. up Bailey. One last time. Shout family,
everybody who came through, no matter what country you're in around the world. It is a blessing to be here each and every single week. We thank you guys for the support. Thank you, MJ, for moderating. Thank you for Sugar Brat for moderating.
MJ, Sugar Bear,
all the promo, all the people out there. Rap Team, thank you so very much. Hashtag Rap Team. We're gonna start that out. Merch is on the way.
Hashtag Rap Team. Yes.
The YouTube is up right now with 5 or 6 episodes on it.
Yeah.
Within the next couple of days, I will put up probably about 5 more.
We got the SoundCloud running, right?
SoundCloud's got 4 episodes up right now. Just wait for the audio for the others. I'll get those up too after the YouTube ones go up.
And just leave it. Soon we'll have a like page for you to just be fully updated as well. Just give us some time. We'll leave it at that. Yeah.
So thank you so very much for you guys coming out once again. Please, if you need anything, do not hesitate to reach out to someone who can help. It is National Suicide Prevention Day.
Absolutely.
That's a big deal. So as always, as we leave you, first of all, thank you again to the DJ Bailey. We love every single one of you out there. Please take care of yourselves and each other. We will see you next time.
Damn. Fell off again, man. Sorry.
You leave the way you came in, you know? Super love to everybody out there, man. Roti and Poutine. This was special guest, the DJ Bailey, the track, the Valiant. I am the MC Armani Rain. We super love y'all. Be good. Sheesh.